G'day and welcome to Inforunners. I'm Execute. I'm joined today by Algared. How you doing, mate?
I'm feeling much better. I'm back on my 890 jump, so my finery's looking good again.
Yeah,
Not being compared to the ostentatious Trumpian style over the top that you see, what I expect we'll see with Banu merchantmen.
You actually look presentable today, unlike myself. I'm getting more and more uncouth as it goes along.
Start calling you Grizzly Adams, something like that.
I'd also like to state we're actually streaming from Twitch at the same time. I got it to work. I didn't think it was going to work, but it worked straight away. It was just
miracles never cease. We occasionally manage to do something wonderful, and
yeah. You've just reminded me of all the other stuff I've got to do, like turn on the bots and all that type of stuff. So,
gotta keep you honest.
So, getting that going now. So yeah. Anyway, so we've got ISC to watch this week, and we've got the end of Alien Week. I was actually expecting some more from Alien Week. I'm going to be honest. I'm a little disappointed. I was expecting an alien ship.
A little bit more?
We didn't get an alien ship. Get anything. So it makes me wonder. I don't know. You tell me what you think, but it makes me wonder if.
Yeah. I think sometimes we expect too much. Like, if I look back on previous years, we've never had a ship in Alien Week that I can really recall. It's often been in the IAC or the, I don't think the
we had the Raelian.
Shreks came out in Alien Week, and I don't think Raelian did either, did they?
No, the Raelian came out in Alien Week, and we also had the Talon. The Talon came out the year before that. Or maybe a bit before, but you get my drift. So yeah, I was just a little bit disappointed. Anyway, nice to see some people chat. So we've got Geek, The Only Truth, Fraser. Nice to see you guys this morning. Well, for us, it's this morning. You're probably about to wrap up work in the top part of the world. The up over.
We're kind of waking up, stretching,
And we both didn't sleep well. It was not that we sleep together.
I slept better than I normally do, so that or had been, so that was a good thing.
Oh, Sear, how you doing, buddy? Yes, I did get my TV replaced after my. Do you know how long ago that was? That was like 2 years ago, bud. You are behind the times, sir. But you are welcome to join us if you want to jump in, dude. We're in the recording channel on Inforunners. You're more than welcome to jump in and join us if you wish, and then you can pop out again when you're finished.
Yeah, always happy to have you on too. It's been ages since we've seen you.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's good to see you, mate. I have to get back together some more episodes.
Indeed.
Yeah, so as I said, ISC, taking your questions. I'm trying to think there was another thing I wanted to look at. The roadmap. They did a roadmap update. We might have a quick look at that as well. They seem to be really doubling down on the reclaimer at the moment, which is interesting. Yeah, so yeah.
What? Something you'd like, isn't it?
We'll see. I don't know. Like, there's a lot there to unpack. So rather than go into that, we'll go over it. So yeah, Is there anything else that you want to talk about, Algared? As in stuff that happened this week?
No. I was surprised. I got to admit, with our BMM overview, I was surprised how many people thought we were just having a rant about the 890 not being awesome. Because I don't know about you, but I certainly didn't feel that's what we were doing. I thought we were looking at what reasons were behind the BMM changing from that original backers view of being a clipper ship to what it is now. And yeah, totally.
I could see why people think that, but all we were trying to say is, like, look at what they've done with the Banu merchantman. I would have expected this to be at least equally the same on the 890. That's the other way you could look at it. So I can see how they've taken it. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's a different ship. But if you're paying for luxury, wouldn't you want that to be the most luxurious? And I've heard, like, one of the arguments I had, someone said a bit against me this week was luxury means different things to different people. But I would also at some point say there's a tipping point where it's pretty generic to a certain point. And if I show you A and I show you B, and you can look at one and say it's more luxurious than the other. That was my point from that. So
there is a view where a lot of 890 jump owners and Origin owners and people have often said in the past, let us do luxury our way. You know, there is that option of
yeah, and that
luxury
is
is different things to different people, and you want to be able to do okay.
That is coming, yeah. So I'm hoping that I just want 890 jump. Well, I just want Origin people to get them what they're actually paying for, because they seem to be paying a very high price and not getting a lot for it, especially at the moment. But hopefully there's maybe some more there that I can't even see. So yeah.
Indeed.
No, don't disagree, CSO. Sears is like having this whole conversation, trying to catch up with us because we haven't seen him in 6 months through chat. So yeah.
No, mate, join us in voice if you can.
He's
his way.
He's at work, so he can't.
Yeah. No, well, in that case, you can't. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we'll cut it over to ISC now. I tend to wait till there's a certain number of people before I start ISC, and every time it hits it, I just start it. So we're up there now.
And yes, see, I would agree. In concept, the BMM was way better than the 890 jump on paper, and you know, but the price was never the same. And you'd expect, based on what CIG always used to say about price, you know, but the more you pay, it's not just the better ship, but it's also you're getting better components and more gameplay ability, and that's part of the whole reason why, you know, the Constellation was originally the ship that could fight 3 F-7C fighters and survive, because it was basically, you know, 2.5 times the cost, and yeah, and now what do we get? We get a system where it just it doesn't match. It's yeah, so it's a bit difficult to.
Yeah, I disagree in that regard. All right, here we go. They called it Second Life. I think he's run out of puns. He's just going the other games titles now, but we'll see. Here we go.
Yep.
At the team, we will always wanted to make the Derelict more enjoyable and fun for the player. The new addition of the Planetary navmesh make like designer able to put life on the location.
Before it was just kind of a ship just there on the ground, but what we wanted to do is to create a link between the ship and the environment around.
We decided to make them more like a settlement, to have like more story around them.
It's like walking in the woods and just sometimes you just found their old cards all rusty there with the leaves and the trees all around. That's the kind of feeling we wanted to do with the Derelicts.
For us designer, a lot of opportunity to make the location more FPS friendly with cover, more like mission friendly, so we can add stuff on top of that.
When you will arrive at the crash, you will see a big trail on the ground. So if you look behind the ship, you will see all the big tree, but in the trail, all the trees will be small, and we're going to have just small rocks and grass, and it's the purpose the ship was there. When you go back in the ship, because you will be able to go back in the ship, you will rediscover the ship as...
I gotta ask, like, it took this long for the plants to grow up and over the reclaimer, right? Surely the trees behind it have regrown by now.
Well, I would have thought surely the trees that are broken and smashed by the ship coming in would have, the foliage, they would have died. They'd be dead stumps rather than.
But not only that, if people are living inside the relic, they would have picked those up first to help build stuff.
Yep, and you'd have seedlings or less.
Yeah.
Right.
They needed to use the lore team there. I think the lore team needed to got involved in there to make that would have made more sense. But yeah,
or geographers or
someone.
They were before, but in the older version that tell a lot of story about the old technology. Kind of.
So bones like that to get inside a ship, they would have. That's at least 2-3 years of growth, and that's if the seed was right there. Not even to mention that it's got to get into the ship. So yeah,
giving a second life to the ship. We got an update on the Planetary navmesh now on the planet, so we are allowed to put.
I've just realised though, having all those trees knocked down does make it easy to find the wreck though, because there's like an empty space. So maybe that it might be gameplay reasons.
I imagine it's gameplay reasons. But if the trees have all been knocked down, and the old stumps have died, and you've got saplings grown, you'd have a different colouring in terms of the foliage, so you'd have a lighter green trail, or a bit like archaeology. You know, when archaeologists are looking for something, they'll use crop marks to find stuff. Oh, the soil's deeper here, so the roots, the plant's been able to grow deeper, so you've got greener or taller plants. The soil's shallower here, so there's something underneath. The roots can't grow as high, so we're getting different marks, or so there are things you could do that would play into that, but wouldn't necessarily mean you've still got to have. Would it mean you wouldn't have to have those stumps still having foliage on them as if they'd just been knocked down? So
putting NPC in this location that are park air, trying to take the best of the location, scavenging for resources.
So when you will arrive there, you will feel then some people living there since a long time. That's going to give you a feeling that all that place around is just kind of habitated by some people. The mission we're going to do on those ships, if it's an hostile mission, we're going to have some kind of faction there. Is living there, we'll just take control of the ship. And it's not an hostile mission, there's going to be a different kind of faction.
We see all the feedback we receive on January when we start showing the concept of the Derelict settlement with the AI team for the Planetary navmesh and all the team in Turbulent. We was able to create a habitation module. We have tools now to be able to generate and procedurally place all this work on the planet. It's just the beginning of the long-term plan that we have in mind to populate and add more and more location in the PU.
And I'm super proud of my team to do that with the design team, the art team. We worked super hard, pretty proud of it, and I'm sure then people will enjoy it. Thanks, guys.
The new inhabited derelict settlement for 3.17.2 is not the only one that will be present in this patch. We will let the player discover them and find them in the universe.
Okay.
The crashed reclaimer derelict settlements are just one of the new mission-enabled
Someone needs a haircut.
gameplay-focused environments from Turbulent arriving in the upcoming Alpha 3.17.2. And we encourage you to explore the Stanton system and find additional ones on your own. Hint, some of them are still floating out in space. And when you're done exploring, the fine citizens of Orison will need your help when the newest dynamic event pits the dreaded Ninetails against Crusader security forces. Now, while we'd prefer you discover most...
Has he actually... I gotta ask, has he actually left the building?
I don't know. It looked like he's either just stepped out of the shower with that hair, or he's in need of a hair. A visit to the hairdresser, but yeah.
Most of the details for yourself on the PTU and live servers, we do have a brief introduction to perhaps the biggest and most elaborate mission in Star Citizen yet.
Siege of Orison is an event where we take away all of your most overpowered toys, which are your ships. You actually have to use your reactions and your guns and your teammates to hopefully survive this perilous encounter.
We wanted to do what for FPS combat we did for ship combat with Xenothreat, push it to its extremes. So without spoiling the event, the Siege of Orison is a dynamic event which takes place around Orison on some floating platforms owned by Crusader, and we shuttle players in to help out Crusader take back their islands.
When we was making the mission, we wanted to, first of all, we wanted to make a fun mission that pulled people in together to play together, experience something they might not have normally.
In most missions you go up against 10 AI and you really don't get challenged.
A lot of our missions do a lot of hand-holding where we mark everything for the player, and they can sort of disengage to a level and just walk to a marker and presume the rest of it. This one I wanted to kind of go, right, here's no markers, now think and try figure it out for yourself.
The event is primarily a PvE mission. There are systems in place to discourage PvP.
It's not something we protect against because we want the players to protect themselves from it. We're not discouraging it.
Algared, your camera's off, just so you're aware.
But we're not actively supporting it yet.
There's a lot of new spaces we've made for Orison, and working with design on the block out and still making sure it's all in keeping with what Orison is. We looked at expanding the visual library of Orison. What we really liked was the contrast of this kind of idyllic, relaxing garden platforms floating around and this kind of battle scarred, damage and things like that adding to them. So it was a lovely kind of contrast to put in.
We don't normally have content of this scale.
The main challenge, or the main challenges, were performance. By moving it far enough away from like the center, the city of Orison, we managed to avoid most of that.
Having this here helped to improve and push performance because we found issues and we was able to quickly fix them. The experience I hope players get is enjoyment. Mostly, I want players to feel fun and create like emergent stories with their friends that they can, tell on Reddit or through videos and whatever. Just have fun, really.
I want them to see all the effort that has gone into like healing and gunplay and AI over the years that you may not notice fighting against a small amount of people.
Events in general are great because they pull people who might not play with each other together. You all feel like this comradeship trying to push forward against this enemy that you all have in common.
It's an experience unlike any other in this game.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that those fantastic Derelict concepts we showcased earlier this year are already making their way to the persistent universe, and that they're coming along with new missions and gameplay made possible by the new dynamic planetary navmesh, and that the Siege of Orison is the next big step forward towards bringing additional gameplay to Star Citizen's existing landing zones. Now, don't forget, there are a number of contests going on for both Alien Week and our upcoming Battle of the Bricks, which will see the community teams from both Star Citizen and EVE Online come together in a live stream on July 22nd to raise money for charity. You can learn all about both of those things on the robertspaceindustries.com website. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. This is the very noisy 9th floor of the Manchester Goods Yard building, soon to be home for our Manchester studio. And what goes in the center here, where all this noise is? It's going to be something to see when the time comes. We'll see you all next week.
I'm going to go with computers.
Amanda, just use whichever one of these has the least interruptions. We're not going to get this clean. Pardon me. Fish tacos.
I don't know about the rest of you, but that felt like a bit of a filler episode because they talked about two things that we already kind of knew were coming and that they've talked about before, but they just detailed them out more. I don't know. Algared, your camera's still not back up, bro. Just so you're aware. You having trouble fixing it or what?
No. My Sparko said it is working. I've just turned it back off and on, and it's not frozen from my end.
So go into Ninja. Because I think that's what's causing the issue. You need to resync it in Ninja. All right. Yeah. That was a really lull in the episode, so to speak. I wasn't really prepared for that. I was hoping there'd be a bit more to talk about. Looks like we're going to have a lull week this week. I'll have a quick look. Algared, those two messages we got this week, did they have the translations for those yet? Have you seen them or not?
I know Jael has done the Xeon one. He actually did the Xeon one as a live stream. So he literally sat there translating and talking as he was translating, talking about the language and the origin of the words in the language. Those who don't know, Jael does just loves the language stuff. He joins Paul and I for the Star Citizen Law podcasts, and he is an absolute language guru, in my opinion. So I would not be surprised if he hasn't done it already, that he will be in the process of doing the Banu. Like he's the one who you might remember Execute. When Paul was talking about a friend giving him stuff in Banu, giving him titles in Banu of what he did. That was Jael. So yeah, I will find out.
I did have the letter originally on. I got it off the Reddit, is where I got it from.
Yep.
But yeah, and basically the what do you call it? The compressed version is that they were warning us about a threat that was coming to Stanton.
They're actually probably based on that, and given the upcoming Ninetales event, I would imagine that's what they're encouraging, protecting us or warning us against, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, your camera's frozen, but you're at least you've got a picture of your face there.
Yeah.
Very flattering.
Yeah, and it's a very joyous picture there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Can anyone in chat
Ninja that had crashed.
Link me the translations if you've got them. I'm looking for them live, and obviously that's always a messy thing when you're trying to do a show at the same time.
And I will apologise to people now for sucking on a cough lozenge.
Yeah. When was it? That's from 2 years ago, so that ain't it. 2022. Yep, this might be it. Hold on. Let's see if I can. All right, let's kick it over the browser. So this is
yes, there's always drama in Spectrum.
First contact day. Okay, careful link. So this is them working. So I think it's still being translated. Wow. All right. Wait. Oh, they read it in French. Are you serious?
Full text English.
Oh, here we go. Together, let's create a business plan to make the solely wealthy. The first contact day between humans and Banu has passed. It was mere seconds. In order to signify the celebration of our valuable partnership with each other, while fantastic, we can help you even better friends with us. Yes, humans, the standard language humans speak is widely understood. However, we all of us, while polite, all of us, the best one in the manner you should be brought market that all of us must set they strive to possibly enrich ourselves in the trust. Man, that is such broken English.
That is someone doing a literal translation. Taking up the gist and the sense of the passage to make it make sense.
We give instruction in order to create trade humans and Banu might like the most. You give humans an unusual thing, they will buy something because free things make them uncomfortable. So you make all of us clothing, pins are small, expensive, common, trinket. We acquire human. This is so literal because even the benefit only decorative to repeat this standard. Happy first contact. This gift shows us how we're talking about giving us a gift. Okay. If humans ask the question, why is trade such an important tradition to the Banu? It may be difficult for a Banu to answer. They live and die in trade. They may be offended by won't show it in their speech. We get friendly, blah blah blah. This is getting so lengthy. Sometimes humans try to trade without Banu. Often they do share details regarding Zion and human trades. This situation actually is regretful because trading Banu do not bear details. Okay, so there's a bit of that still needs to be translated. All of us say good fortune to humans.
Basically, the gist is that they're looking at doing some trade.
And thanks, and have a gift. Like that's yeah.
We're doing stuff that's not a gift because we don't like it. But sometimes they say when we trade, we talk about our trade negotiations that we've had with others, and that's kind of seen as disrespectful because they don't do that. So it's like showing your underwear, that type of thing, or flashing. It's just seen as...
I remember reading the Zion one earlier this week, and it was on the Spectrum, but I'm not going to go search Spectrum for the moment because it takes a while. But if anyone is kind enough to link it, that would be great. Thank you. Yeah. All right. I think that's the roadmap is the only other thing I've got to look at. But yeah, we don't have many questions that have come in today, so obviously it might be a very short stream. But that's okay. What was I looking for? I was looking for the roadmap.
Yeah, and don't forget, guys, if you do have a question to preface it with a question, I'll do the virtual, the verbal bot announcement. Please put question in your question, and the bot will pick it up and translate and make it so that we see it and can answer your question. Or as the bot says, please preface your question with the word question or some variant thereof, so the bot can pull it out for your question from chat. Thank you. Something like that anyway.
All right. So I'm just going to go through this pretty quickly. Obviously, you've got derelicts there, dropship reinforcements. I think that's kind of cool because you can basically, it takes out of the standard norm if you can just bring dropships into an area. So that's always cool. Just something you can't predict is going to happen, and obviously more enemies and stuff, which is good. Progress tracker, asteroid facilities, adding new asteroid facilities to the persistent universe, handcrafted traversable areas. So does that mean we're actually going to be able to run around the outside of asteroids? That's pretty cool if that's what that is. And then they moved a bunch of ships, which
I wonder whether those asteroid facilities will be like smaller mining stations, kind of like small versions of Grimhex or... Because certainly in Delamar, the other system where our old, I've forgotten the name of the asteroid base that used to be in Stanton that's been moved. But that asteroid belt is supposed to be filled with lots of little homesteaders. It's not just the one. That's just the main base. There's lots of little homesteads all over that asteroid. So having those around would just add to the nastiness that people can do to NPCs, because we know they will, because players are always bastards to NPCs because they don't exist. And then they're bastards to each other because, hey, I can be. But yeah. Thank you, Orelevsky. Yes.
We just had
nice to have you guys.
We just had our first person whisper us or message us in chat on Twitch. So there are people finding us on Twitch, but they're pretty rare. So we're gonna have to build up an audience there, obviously, because the last time we actually streamed on Twitch was 4 years ago. So it's been a long time between drinks.
And part of it was just the hassle of trying to do get both systems working and not being able to upload or other stuff. So never been something we've been particularly good at.
I'm just gonna make a call out to the person that is on there. So Spectre21, can you ask a question so I can test the question bot? Because apparently we got Pickles to reprogram it during the week, and so now it can tell us if it comes from Twitch or from YouTube. So if you can even if you just type the word question, that would be enough.
We've got a fancy dancy color code that we can see, so it makes life easier for us.
If you would be kind enough, Spectre21, to test that for me, I'd really appreciate it. Just type the word question. You don't even have to ask a question, bro. That's what I'd love you to do. Thank you. All right. I think with that, I'm gonna crank up the game.
It works. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. From Twitch. There we go. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Marek.
Whew.
So Marek beat you in there.
Yep.
All right. But yeah, our bot's working. That's great. Good to know. Alrighty.
Yeah, we knew that one was working, Doberman, but thanks anyway.
So I got to wonder about that alien ship. I honestly thought we were going to get another one. I'm wondering if it just got delayed or maybe the gameplay function they wanted to put in got cut or...
Yeah. It's always hard to gauge whether what has resulted in things getting cut or changed or drifted from our the way things go. And sometimes it is just that, isn't it? It's just things have gotten away. But yeah.
Can't tell. Have you found anything else out about the bar citizen? I'm just curious.
There is a bar citizen. It is certainly planned for the weekend of the 16th of July. Yes, 16th of July. So in about 3 or 4 weeks' time. We're still tracking down a venue because in the past the venue that's closest to the central station in Sydney has sometimes given us a bit of grief.
Yeah, but it had a cool name. Tell them the name.
It has a cool name. The hotel is called the Hotel Aurora, which for me is just And it's right next door to the station, so it makes it ideal for anyone coming from everywhere, because that's like the central hub for the rail travel. So it makes it really good for everyone. But booking them has caused problems in the past. So, and in fact falls through, and we've got to look for another venue. But we are looking at the 16th or the weekend of the 16th of July for the Sydney Bar Citizen. So that will certainly be an event I'll be at. And depending on whether we get the information out early enough, it'll certainly be one that Execute intends to be at. So if you're a Sydney sider or an Australian or a Canberran and you're planning to come, I know the plan is for some of the guys from Melbourne to come up as well.
I did talk to Croncy. He's planning on coming and seeing if he can make it as well. So, but yeah, is anyone else that people can think of in chat that they'd like to see turn up to an Australian Bar Citizen? Obviously, you got to be Aussie. But we'll try and reach out if we can. But I'm going to be honest. The only other person I can really think of that would probably want to be there is I always forget his thing because I've only watched his stream 3 or 4 times. General, you know the guy I'm talking about. That is an older gent like yourself. General something. He's an Aussie dude. But yeah, he streams as well. So I don't know where he lives though, but I assume he's closer than I am. So wouldn't be too much of a jump, skip, and hop for him to get there. Someone will remind me what his name is. General, is he Australian guy? General, God, I can't think of his last name. Anyway.
Santama, someone's saying.
What's it? Sorry?
Saitama is Marek was suggesting.
I can't see that chat. I'm looking at all 3 chats and I can't see it, so no.
Yep. Yeah, there was a guy with his head in, or if I did see that, Marek. General Motors. No, that's a car company. Or was a car company in Australia. It's certainly gone now.
General Desperado. That's what it is. I just remembered.
Thank you, Duke. Duke Lucum just suggested that as well. So
I didn't say that, but I did. I just remembered it myself. But yep, cool.
It's okay.
Good to see I'm being reinforced.
Yeah, it's nice to know when your memory's not as
yeah. What the hell? I keep clicking on the eclipse, but it keeps giving me the hammerhead. Maybe it works this time. There we go.
There you go.
And I gotta reclaim my calculators.
All right. So while you're doing that, I'll start going through some of our questions. And
yeah, go for it, man.
So, apart from Sears' question about your TV, which you said was about ancient history, it just shows how long it is since Sears been able to join us. Aurelius Indomitus has a question. Do we already know the translation of the Banu message? And the answer is, at the moment, well, you saw us do that kind of live. It was a very broken English. Whoever translated it certainly was only going for the gist or the general idea, and had failed to follow normal, translation ideas. When you translate for meaning. If it doesn't make sense, it's a crap translation. So,
and I can't find the Zion one. I did read it. Wait, here we go. I might actually have it. Hold on. No, that for some reason.
I will.
When I searched Zion message 2022, and it took me the Chinese president's message translation.
All right, try
what?
I can't remember what Jail's website is, but if you try looking there, you might find it.
I'll add jail into the search terms. See what I get. Spectrum dispatch, maybe. Nope. I don't reckon I'm gonna get it. Yeah, I'm surprised there's not a link there to it, but yeah. As I said, I saw it on. Oh, current translation. Okay. Warning for the people. Oh wait, no, I can choose the browser. You can't see itself. The Zion Empire contains information of the matter of the Xeno threat. Yeah, and this is what I remember it being about. It's just generally them talking about Xeno threat. I don't think I'm gonna read all that. I'm gonna be honest with you. But yeah. And this was like the very obvious right at the start translation, but yeah, it's just a warning about that they're coming for Orison, and I think that's what's leading up to the thing in Orison.
Yeah, Yeah, I kind of have a feeling that's linking to the Siege of Orison.
Yeah.
As well, but they like to do things by skullduggery and subterfuge, so they'd probably bear.
Algared, is this screen new? I don't remember this screen, or I've just never noticed it in a while. I feel like I'm slow.
It may have always been there, but it's certainly working now, which is probably the big thing. I don't remember it myself.
I don't remember ever seeing that. Oh shit! What's
I think it may have used to just do ship picks, so it may have just been a frozen sign if it's been there all the time. I just can't recall seeing it with the moving pictures. It's probably been black in the past. But always nice to see the videos, the videos kind of playing in the background. It kind of adds life to the verse.
Next question, please.
Next question. I was just about to do that before you did that. So, woohoo has a question. I hope I got your name right, woohoo. It says, did the merchantman, had the merchantman ever been described as having that goo healing ability in its med beds, previously?
No.
No, because I think that last reveal was the first time we actually saw or heard that the BMM actually had a med bay.
Yep.
I'm not sure it was being said before, but certainly I can't recall it being said.
Yeah, it had med bays, but not those med bays. They decided to make them more alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was certainly something, that was the first time we'd seen that. So, yeah. Yes, sir, I did forget to wax and polish today. Sears was, did I forget to wax my head today? He's obviously saying the fuzz is starting to come through again, which is probably giving a slight green hinge around the head. So yes, I haven't done that today. I apologise. Kayla Ulrich has a question. At this stage, do you think they will do an alien ship announcement tomorrow? My gut would be no.
I'm kind of hoping and praying. I would have thought it would have come with ISC, so they could have talked about the ship, but...
Yeah. I would have...
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, that's basically just what I had to say.
Yeah, I was basically going to agree with you. If they were doing a new ship, I would have expected them to do it, to preface it on ISC, because it's free advertising for a ship, and it's going to make people want to clamour to the website, whereas... Yeah, so...
Yeah, so now ISC is kind of come and gone. I think, unfortunately, that... yeah...
wishful thinking, the dream upon a dream, and yeah.
Yep.
And often when we say things like if we say we think there's a ship coming, it's often us just saying what we'd like. It's speculation, and a lot of times. Of looking back at what's been and what we've seen and what we've done in the past, and then portraying that forward and hoping that that's still the case. And sometimes we're right, and sometimes we might get it wrong. That's just life. Next question from Johnny McJohnface. He says, sorry, been down at the pub. Forgive any bad spelling, grammar, and gima, and gibberish. I can't help feel people are underplaying how big a deal the nav mesh coming in is. What do you guys think? A big deal? Absolutely. 100% big deal.
I think just going to make the worlds feel so much more alive when
hell yeah,
things can move around and the animals and aliens and...
it's going to make NPCs be able to move around outside the bases. It's going to make, those NPCs in the bases, if you run away, they may follow you and give chase. So
it's one of those texts that are just out of sight, out of mind, isn't it? And so if you can't see it, you just don't think about it.
Yeah, and even on the other side, it comes into the wildlife, the fauna. Once that starts to being able to move that, it adds to that. So the nav mesh is major, and yet it's just a back end piece that we don't often see. So yeah, big deal. 100% agree. Marek Evans has a question for us. He says the 890 jump will likely end up getting a glow up. But how many of the older ships can get the BMM treatment? Where it grows substantially to serve its role purpose.
we kind of talked a bit about this during the week, didn't we? And
We did.
and I think I don't think we'll quite see the likes of it again, quite honestly. The Endeavour's the only other one I can think of. The OC.
Endeavour, the Crucible, they're the last two ships I think will get it because they're old. The ships that tend to get that massive growth.
But I mean to the exact size of what, like how much, like essentially if that's $1,000, that means those people gain $750. I don't even think we'll see that with the Endeavour personally. But you can correct me if you think I'm wrong.
I think it depends what they do with the ships, like if they make the Endeavour core, being one thing, and then all the attachment being additional prices, you could probably have to make up your Endeavour a cost like that. But the individual parts might be significantly less. But I think all the old ships are the ones that have grown, have ballooned up, and then prices have increased dramatically. But the BMM is, I think anyone who bought a BMM at the original price has got a better deal than anyone who bought a Idris M at the original price. Because you're getting so much more ship for significantly less. Like Idris M, $1,000 was the initial price of that for that combat frigate or combat corvette. And Chris Roberts has been saying for years, if you got that, you got a massive deal because it's so much more ship.
Yeah.
How much more so is that true of a BMM, which has basically went from a $250 light clipper ship, or in the way that the original backers have always described it, to being a behemoth that rivals a Hull C in terms of cargo, that has massive weapons, size 8 weapons. They're the largest weapons we've seen on any of the ships so far, in terms of merchanty type ships. And since the BMM's hopefully coming soon, again, that'll be the biggest weapons we've seen on ships. I think the biggest we've got currently in game is 7s. So, they're big. Yes, the Idris, when it comes in game, has big weapons. Yes, the Javelin, when they're using it for Xenothreat, has big weapons. But you get what I'm saying. I think I think they'll be the biggest weapons we see on player ships before the Idris and the Javelin. So, totally, awesome, in my opinion. So, sorry for the gibberish, but I just gave in my answer. Marek Evans follows up. I know his question was just, hey, I've got another. He's just testing for us. Question, what's your opinion on the removed chips? I assume Spectre 21, you're talking about the removed chips from the roadmap. It's the nature of development, in my opinion. Sometimes things will go forward, sometimes they'll go back, sometimes things will be added, sometimes they'll be taken away. And it really is just the management of parts. And you've got to remember the roadmap this is what the things we're planning to work on and we think we're going to be able to work on. And as time changes, as they're looking ahead, the week comes and they say, hey, we've got this, it's going to change from where we can put our resources. Yeah, so...
It's not to say that they won't go back on at a later date or anything like that.
Yeah, that's right.
They obviously had things like the cargo refactor. Maybe it's going to take a little longer than they planned, and so things get shuffled down the line a little bit. It's always disappointing to hear of delays, though. No one likes to hear delays.
Oh, yeah.
But they're still coming. It's not like they've deleted them forever. I mean, you guys have seen it enough now to know.
Yeah, it's certainly not, that ship you purchased, it's no longer available. We're not giving it you at all. Sucker. It's just been delayed. And I've always taken the view, if a ship's delayed or it's coming late, you look at the early ships they put out compared to the newer ships they put out. And the newer ships are always better. The pipeline's more polished. They've got the looks better. There's less need to do the reworks. The component spaces are there. The ships just end up coming out looking and feeling so much better. Carrack versus any other big ship that came out early. It's chalk and cheese. They don't compare. So I don't mind those delays myself.
No, me either. It generally, as we've said, makes the ships better. Yeah, I disagree. Like, it sounds crazy to say I waited, 9 years for a Banu Merchantman.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure when it gets there, I'm going to be happy about it. I was happy about the carrick. You know, they delayed that a couple of times. There's still things they need to do on the carrick, obviously.
I'm very happy, and I'm pretty certain Hayes would be happy with what they've said about the BMM, because I know he had quite a few of them. And I can remember way back in the day, I hope I'm remembering correctly, but way back in the day it was kind of, we've got this this ship that's a merchantman which has internal cargo as opposed to external cargo on a hull C. It has almost the same cargo and it's got better weapons.
Yep.
Which ship do I want to be hauling cargo across the verse in? BMM, you know, and I can remember him even talking about using a BMM as almost an addition to the escort.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at a convoy, you know, that's almost the ship you'd use for your
It has changed since then, though. Back in those days, so yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's got it hasn't gone. It hasn't lost anything. It's just gained. It's just become even better at that role, I think. So, I'm certainly not that looks like a ground location.
No, it's not. It's just I'm doing bounties. So I was watching a video by Level Cap, and he did his 10 favorite ships that are currently in game, and he had the Eclipse on there. And you know how I feel about the Eclipse. So I was like, all right, I've got an Eclipse at the moment because of my upgrading chains at the moment. I'm going to go test out this theory, and he's actually correct. There is, you can do these bounties ridiculously easy, where you just come in at full speed, target the guy that's the main target, fire a torpedo at about 2.5K, and just fly off. Because it'll kill him in one hit, and you can do it with hammerheads, whatever. And so, once you've grinded right up to the top, you can do one mission really quickly, like in less than 5 minutes, and you make like 250K. It's ridiculous. So here we go, logging onto the guy. So I'm going to be locked on for a while.
Locked on.
But yeah, I'm at 10K. Because he's always the first thing that comes up. Oh shit, I'm locked onto the wrong one. Uh-oh. This is not going to work. Well, that failed.
Jeez, why'd you miss with the one guy?
Yeah, the one time I was trying to shout I was done, and I stuffed it up.
Should have just showed us on the one you had targeted. That would have worked. But while you're lining up for another run, question. So, Silent Skip 001 says, when will we see the first appearance of the actual alien in game? Good question.
Alright, here we go. Get ready.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be nice.
Done.
I'm complete.
Just fly off and leave the other guys behind.
And that was even after stuffing up the initial approach. Oh no, there's an incoming missile.
Anyway, yeah, sorry. You were going to do the question?
Yep.
Before I interrupt you?
So yeah, alien in game, when do you think?
The expansion packs, Tavaran would be the first we would see. I actually would say Squadron 42 might be the first time we see them. To be honest with you.
Well, we know actually, that's probably true. I'm pretty certain I've heard that there are Xeon in Squadron 42. We know there's Vanduul in Squadron 42. I wouldn't be surprised if there are Tavaran, you know, just like Chris Roberts had a kill on the in Wing Commander as a wingman in Wing Commander. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Tavaran wingman that you could have in Squadron, because humans and Tavaran are similar in size. So
yeah.
But I would certainly expect the first player race of aliens we ever is going to be Tavaran, because they're within the same system. But yeah.
Getting a little bit of breakup for you, Algared, just so you're aware. So obviously got a bit of a poor connection today, yeah. And I am straining this, by the way, because I'm actually streaming to 2 services at once. So that is a little bit, it might be a little bit my end this time. We'll have to test it again. All new today. If you guys aren't aware, those who joined us late, we're actually streaming to Twitch and YouTube at the same time, just to do some tests and stuff. We've only got about what, 5 or 6 of you guys on Twitch at the moment, but that's fine.
So if you feel the urge to watch both streams and subscribe to the Twitch chat as well, feel free, because that will help us.
And stress the hell out of the
the hell out of Execute, because he's trying to watch both the question chat and the YouTube chat and the Twitch chat
and Fly.
So if you want to stress Execute, you know what to do, and ask questions on each of them, and that will really, or make comments on each of them for Execute, and that'll really screw him around. And yes, he's saying, "Curse you, Algared."
Yeah, pretty much.
Hogan.
Yeah. All right. What's the next question, man?
Next question. Abyssinian. It's hard because he's got numbers and letters in his name as well. Abyssinian says, is the Banu's persona more about greedy profit over good deals? The old concept had them looking more menacing than the current character concept of them looking soft, gentle, and benevolent. It depends. It's a bit hard. There's more with the lore with the Banu, and their lore has changed, because originally it was family. They were family traders. That has certainly changed to be more Sulu based. They do have that image of being like Ferengi.
I think.
So what are your thoughts?
Well, I think you'd get different, just like how you different humans, you get different Banu. So you could make your ship look the kind of way you want it to look. That's just where my logic goes down the line. Like initially now, it's just bling bling, but like if you want to make yourself look like a threatening Sully, can't you just design your ship to look more threatening? Like, make it black or obsidian or whatever,
We do know that now there is certainly a Sulu that focuses on building defensive ships. So there is a Sulu that specializes in building the defender. That's what they do. I imagine there's going to be a Sulu that specializes in building the merchant ships, or building bigger military ships. So the old view that the BMM was the generational ship that the Banu families used, and then when the Banu needed to, they all grouped together with their big ships and formed a militia, which was part of the reason why the Banu was heavily armored. And that was their fleet. That may have changed just because of the way they've got the Sulu kind of more developed in different areas. But yeah, you could have different views on. Ooh, that was close. You could have different ways and different views of what the Banu are and different Zulu, but the Banu culture is certainly.
Where the hell is this dude?
I think the idea is to make it alien to us. So.
Please visit again.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to Paul and Dale tomorrow and nut them out though as we are.
So while we've got people here, I might ask a thing. I have this idea for a charity event. I've been trying to talk to Paul about it for like a week now, but he's just been really busy. There's a board game I played a lot over COVID where you could play it online. And so what I was thinking is maybe it's kind of like if anyone's ever played one of those social deduction games, like where there's a couple of people that are bad and they're trying to kill all the people that are good, and the good people are trying to work out who the baddies are and kill them off. And I just thought that'd be really cool if we could get like maybe 12 content creators together and do a charity live stream for one of those things. That'd be just good to hang out with the community. And a bit of a break for all the content creators and stuff like that. So, I don't know, let me guys know in chat if you think that's a terrible idea, and hopefully we can get some people to, give some donations and stuff and put it towards one of those charities that Paul likes to back, like, the gaming one, or something like that. And I just thought it'd be good to do something a little bit non-Star Citizen-y with Star Citizen people. So, yeah.
I like that Shadow Girl charity Among Us.
It is similar to Among Us. We could technically play Among Us, but Among Us, I'm going to be honest with you, if you're actually a board gamer, you just realize how much Among Us stole it from board games. And they weren't the first ones to do so, they were just lucky. But yeah, and the one I'm talking about is, so in Among Us, where everyone's basically exactly the same, game I'm talking about is called Blood on the Clock Tower. If you want to look it up, they do have a website.
Yep.
But in this game, you basically have, everyone has a role, and the roles are like, so for example, one of the most simplest ones is the chef, and basically the chef can tell if the evil players are sitting next to each other or not. And that sounds stupid, but it can literally change the game. Like later on, you know, because there's false information in this game and stuff like that. And then there's crazy ones where like, and even the bad guys are different. So even the default, so it's a demon in this game. When the bad guy's killed, it can actually transfer to one of his minions and stuff like that. Where in other games, when the demon's dead, the demon's just dead. So yeah, and there's many different demons and many different roles and stuff like that. But yeah, if you want to check it out, go Blood on the Clock Tower, and they've got all the different roles and stuff on there. So it's not just the standard affair. It's kind of like a more advanced Among Us is how I would how I pitch it, and it has a what they call a storyteller or a DM. And the DM kind of steers it toward, like, tries to balance it as much as possible, and it makes it way more intense because the game is very, very balanced because he's trying to balance it that way. So, yeah, it's very interesting. But I'd probably reach out to the guys that made the game and get them to actually host it, which would be kind of cool. So it'd be kind of like this Blood on the Clock Tower social deduction board game community event crossed with Star Citizen. And you don't see big gaming communities do that very often. So I just thought it'd be kind of interesting to cross some bridges and bring some of those into our community and vice versa, ours into theirs. So yeah, and for charity, so it's not a bad thing. And again, because it's a game that you can play where you don't have to be in person, that's just a huge benefit. And it also brings all those different Star Citizen communities together as well. And charity. I just thought it was a good idea, but maybe you guys are going to shoot me down in flames and tell me it's terrible. But yeah, so that's why I want to talk about Paul, because Paul just checked my sanity.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. So moving on to a question.
Sorry.
Aurelius Domitus has a question for us. He says, that part inside the BMM with the 20 cushion seats, do you think that will always be empty, or is going to be where the NPC visitors sit? I think, I'm not sure which part you're talking about, but is that the one where you've got the pool, the pool in the middle?
No, I think he's either talking about the bedroom or he's talking about the rec room.
Yeah, and if he's talking about the bedroom, that is the crew quarters.
Who was it? And ask them for a follow-up question.
Aurelius Indomitus, and I was going to say, can you confirm which bit you're talking about? So if you're talking about the one with the pool in the middle, or you're talking about the...
He literally just said yes. Yes to which one?
Which one?
You do... Oh my god. Yes.
The one with the pool in... Okay, so the one with the pool in the middle, that is the crew quarters.
Yep.
And those cushions are actually the kind of bed type sitting area.
I do want to make out it's not a pool, it's just a lowered down area. But anyway.
I got the impression it was the pool with where they sat and communed, because they're turtle type people, so you know.
No, they're not. That's the Cyan. You got it backwards, bro.
Hey, I'm old.
I'll give you. I know I'm tired, so I know you're tired. So yeah, we'll just put that down to tiredness. But yeah, that's fine.
But I always get those two races mixed up. To me, they look too much alike.
Wow, that's the most racist thing I've ever heard you say, and they don't even exist as real races. But that.
Oh well, yeah.
The Banu are like tall and got really long, elongated heads, and the Cyan are short and stout like little turtles.
These days they're all about the same because of the metrics. But I know at one point the Banu was supposed to be a lot bigger than us because that was
Yeah.
I
think the Banu. I think the
bigger and different.
I think the Banu were the tallest, and then they're like 2 feet taller than us or something like that. Then the Vanduul are like 1 foot taller than us, and then the Cyan are like 2 foot shorter than us or some shit. So yeah, they're only like 4 foot or something.
I know at one point when they were talking about the Vanduul, it was said that you wouldn't be able to go and just kill a Vanduul ship and then capture a ship because we actually wouldn't fit in the ships. in terms of the fighters, that they had to be remodeled for us so we could actually fit and fly them.
You
and so
son of a
Vanduul ship.
son of a bitch! I was just at Crusader, and now I've got to here, and I've now got insufficient fuel. He's headed to Crusader. He was at ArtCorp. I just spent the whole time. Thanks, game.
Yeah, gotta love that.
All right.
So yeah. So my understanding is that room with the pool was a communal area anyway, and I thought it was a kind of a hot tubby pool. I could have been wrong, but it certainly was an area where you could sit and commune, and that was the crew quarters, and there were eight seats in there, which was the 8 crew, and that was because of and they even said this is they have a communal bedroom type thing because they are a communal people, so they unlike the other ships, they don't need to have the individual rooms. Yet they have the VIP rooms because when your guests come, you want them to be able to rest, relax, or do whatever. So, Stinkfinger has a question. He says, any new info on the Banu cube debacle? And what CIG plans on doing about it, if anything?
So do you know what happened, Algared, or not?
I know there was a cube with light, and that's about all I can recall.
Yeah, so basically it was brute forced hacked because it was only like a 16-digit code, and it had to be all text-based. So someone brute forced hacked it, leaked it, and then just gave it to all people. And so that was for the first 50, and they were just gone. So they increased it to 200, but because they already had the code, they just gave it to more people. And so basically people that actually went out and tried to find the codes, it was completed way before it should have been. And so the whole thing was just a debacle, long story short. Because no one actually worked out the codes, it was brute force hacked.
I personally would at that point do what they did with the old map.
And gave it to, I'd just give it to everyone.
Yep, give it to everyone. Or just withdraw it and say, well, you know, you screw the pooch, we take the toys away. You know, very very parental approach that is, you know. Tidy your room or we'll take your toys away.
That said though, it's an exclusive item, but it's a cube that has a bit of light on it. It's like it's a box. Seriously? Like it's not actually going to be a thing that you can use in game that's going to give you a massive benefit to anyone else. If it is, then that's even more reason to remove it.
So a bit like the challenge coin that we got for 200 million.
Yeah.
And the in-game challenge coin has absolutely no purpose.
Yeah.
Then I would personally just make it available to any backer from X date, and you know, I've done the idea once it's cracked, we give it.
That's what it should have been. You know, they're talking about giving us a gift or whatever. That's probably what that box was, but they should have just made it a box for everyone.
Yep.
You know, and what it should have been is it should have been an in-game puzzle, so it wasn't able to be completed. And then, if you open that box, then it gives you something. You know, like it's some kind of puzzle box. That's what I would have made it. You know, you interact with it, and it.
That sounds too much like loot boxes.
No, like a Chinese puzzle box.
Yeah, and then you open up and you get the gift that's inside.
And it's the first 200 people in game because you can't brute force hack that shit. You know, and even if you have instructions on how to do it, it'd still be difficult.
Yeah, certainly if you had to find them in game and then do the puzzle and then, that would be pretty cool. But yeah, I tend to think in these early days, and yes, I still call it early days. Anything like that, I just think, just say, okay, backers from this point, you know, from this date, get it. You know, a bit like, you know, the 200 million funding.
It's just kind of funny because
$100 million plaque on the wall, all of those types of things. It's just
way back in the beginning they said no exclusives, and now there's just shitloads of exclusives. So it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, you know, and I think that type of idea of not having those exclusives in that sense would be ideal. And I know there are two ships that are fairly exclusive. There's the Raven and the Omega.
I think there's a few more than that now.
And the Star Kitten.
And the Scythe. That's another one.
Oh yeah, Scythe.
Someone I know has two of them, and they're going to gift me one, aren't they? Yeah, they're going to gift me one, aren't they? Yeah.
I can't. I'm telling you, I can't.
Yeah, you're gonna do it.
It's
Come on.
I know you want me to, but I can't.
We can pull some strings.
Eventually
We'll pull some strings. We'll talk to Sandy. No.
You're
That's
a
fine.
harsh man.
I'm a harsh man. I'm gonna keep harping until you give it to me. That's fine. I'll weed it out of you eventually.
He's going.
I'll wax your head
he's
for
gonna
you.
wear me down.
I'll wax your head for you. I'll give you a head massage. It'll be good.
I don't need one. Just get the clippers out and then give myself a chrome dome.
Yeah. All right. Next question. We've teased you enough.
Question. Yeah, a couple of others were saying Alpha Vindicator. Yeah, that's
yeah.
The Alpha Vindicator is really just a skin, though. But
it is. Yeah, but so's the Amiga, really, in a way now. Like, really.
Well, the Amiga is just a skin now as well. So,
and I would argue with what they're saying there. Yeah, it's probably one of the. It'd be rarer than the Amiga now if you really do the math. But is it as cool looking?
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably not.
So Apple Crow says, Execute, if I can find a third Skype, I'll give you one.
Yeah, I have to find a second one first. yeah, it's a bit like that, yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty rare these days. I think there was one on the black market last week for $3,000.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. And I come back to the very first time I saw it for sale. It was $300, and I looked at it and went, $300. It's $120 more than the Super Hornet, and the Super Hornet's better. But at the moment, now it's like, well, it's $300, but it's rare as shit. That's why I want it. It wasn't actually the shit.
Yeah.
It was just a rare item. And now with all the things that have happened, like how it's now an actual alien ship, not a reproduction, it's made it rarer again.
Yeah, I can remember Ben talking about back in the old lunchtime streams. And Ben was talking about, the glaive and the scythe, and you being able to upgrade the glaive or something or being able to upgrade the scythe to a glaive. And his comment was, but why would you? No, the glaive is just a recopy.
Yeah.
The scythe is an actual ship.
Well, that's the other thing, Aaron. You got to add to that though. The scythe comes with LTI too. So if I actually go out in the game right now. Or in the game proper when it's released, and I get a scythe, and for some reason it dies, it's gone. You can't insure it at all, right?
Yep.
So that scythe back then with LTI was a fucking godsend, because if you lose it, you just reclaim it and respawn it. So you can actually go out and show it off. Those people right now that grab it, like when the game proper comes out, they will grab a scythe and it'll sit in the garage and it'll never leave that garage, because it'd be way too risky to. Because someone will just ram it. So if you see a scythe in game, I reckon 9 out of 10 people are just going to ram it because they know they control you. So that's what they'll do, because for those in the know. But we'll have to wait and see.
And yes, Apple Crow, we are well aware that the scythe is always a Vanduul ship.
Yep.
It was go back to when the UEE came across a damaged or destroyed, back in the day it was a damaged destroyed kingship. I'm not sure what size it is now.
Heard old man Hurston there for a second. Back in my day!
Yeah, back in my day. That's old man Hurston. They didn't come out for that. But the UEE had come across a Vanduul ship. It had a reactor breach that had basically killed all the crew on board. Before they could self-destruct, which meant BUE got the ship and got all the technology and the ships out of it, and they sold, I think it was 100 or 200 or 300 or whatever it was of the Vanduul TIE fighters that had been on this ship to raise funds. And that ship is also, I think, where we get the technology for the Dyson Sphere, or not the Dyson Sphere, but for our regeneration sphere and all the rest of it. So. So when people say, "Oh, they just pulled that out of the hat," we haven't had that knowledge or that tech. Yeah, but in the lore we actually had that Vanduul tech for a while now. Sure. Moving right on to our questions, because we are getting delayed again. Johnny McJohnface, with a more stable build supposed to be coming in 3.17.2, which bug are each of you looking forward to being fixed? Personally. So which bug would you like to get fixed?
The star map?
Star map? Yeah, the in-game navigation would be lovely to see fixed.
I know there's a few though, really. The EVA bug's meant to be fixed, but that's not really game breaking.
I think at the moment I'd love to see the food bug fixed.
That is fixed. That actually got fixed, by the way.
Okay, that's been fixed since last time I was in, which was last weekend.
That was annoying though.
I had that same problem. I couldn't eat or drink things from my inventory. Now, for those who are interested in getting free food at the moment, if you go up into on Crusader, up into the Crusader Tower, and take the shuttle to the platform way out in the distance, which is in a open fire area, you can loot uniforms and armor and clothes, and there are several crates loaded with food and drink. And you can get a year's supply of food for free. Compliments of Crusader and Ninetales. And at the moment, there's no evil people to shoot you, apart from maybe players who now go there because I've told you all about it online. But yes. So the food bug is one I'd like to see. Kayla Ulrich has a question. Actually, it's not a question. I hosted an Eve Down Under event at Three Wise Monkeys. They will book out the top floor, close to Town Hall Station. Kayla, I will certainly pass that on to Jez, who's kind of heading up, trying to book our venue. He started the process, so I wasn't going to gazump him and say, "Oh, I've done this." So yeah. And Three Wise Monkeys, hopefully they're still up and running. That'd be lovely if they are. So yeah. What are you personally looking forward to in PES? I'm not sure what PES is, so persistent. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, player experience.
Please.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, please elaborate.
Please tell us what PES is, because you know. Yes, I was teaching you how to be proper space hobos. Take the free stuff wherever you can.
Is this guy
don't wear your fancy armor when you don't have to.
This guy's trolling me.
A joker.
Well, he's like in the middle of nowhere now.
Yeah, he probably is. He's probably laughing. If Joker, if you're on stream, say hi.
Yeah, you son of a bitch. I don't know what to do now. I have to kind of wait. He's obviously being tracked by someone else as well.
Yep.
So anyway, next question.
So I'll look forward to you answering in what Pez is, Doberman, because I have no idea.
Yeah.
Said, did the merchantman ever have his weird healing goo beforehand? No.
No.
So again, that was new, a bit like the med beds. Marek Evans, question: if something is completed on the progress tracker, does that mean we see it in game next patch?
Yeah, generally.
If it's on the PU tracker, yes, I would imagine so. If it's on the Squadron 42 tracker, it just means it's one less thing they've got to do. Would be my take on that. Blamsmith says, I thought the Banu message would have done comical elements in its literal language, like the t-shirts they made. The t-shirts
it also depends who translates it. They might not put comical stuff in. That there is interpretations. Like any translation, you've got to take liberties and you've got to know the quims and qualms of the language and stuff like that.
And the nuances and everything else.
And there is a bit of personality of the person translating it in the translation too. So,
but when people are translating, you do several things. You do what we call a literal translate, a word for word. You don't not worrying about word order, and you're just putting things in to make them to just put the words in. And if you do that, you will generally screw up the language. You won't get the grammar, you won't get the style. It just doesn't make sense. But the real thing, whenever you're translating for meaning. And so if your translation does not make sense in the language you're translating it to, it is a crap translation. That's just the short and curlies of it. It's just real world, you know. So, and that's why you'll often find, translators you'll often get different versions of a translation, because you can always see whether there's difficulties or the words aren't really tying in as tightly as you'd like. You know, Bible translations are very much like that, where the ancient language just doesn't work as concisely as we'd like. Ancient translations are like that as well, where there can be different words that can have different meanings, and you can translate it different ways, but you might lose some of the nuance of a language, or you might miss an idea. But so you try to get the gist of what's being said, and then you try to move it as close as you can to get the most accurate or detailed translation. And yeah, so not having done the Banu translation, the one that was read, I thought that the translation was just a literal translation and really wasn't doing a very good job of getting the meaning across. But
now he's all the... This guy, man, I've chased him from Crusader to ArcCorp, all the way back to Yellow, and now he's all the way at ArcCorp again.
I would, yeah, maybe if you wait here, he'll come back, because he's not. Or maybe he's chasing you as well, and you just keep passing each other. Marek Evans' question. In general, if a ship is on that one. Shadow Girl. Hey, no question. I just love attention from you two on my favourite Star Citizen. Oh, golly gosh, gee whiz. Certainly getting better. Execute certainly is feeling tired. He was certainly sounding a bit worse for wear this morning as he was trying to kickstart the brain.
Yeah, didn't sleep too well. I had good sleep the last couple of... Look, I have bad sleep conditions, so yeah, it comes and goes.
Yep.
But yeah, today was not good.
As my response to shucks, golly gosh, gee whiz, Shadow Girl. Goodall 18 has a question. With the cost of ships like the bear memorizing and likely rising again, do you think CIG will adjust the value of ships can be CCU to, or the price hike lock them? Basically, the price hike will lock them. Here's my thought. We've seen that in the past. We'll see it again.
Yep.
So yeah.
You've only got to go by past events.
Yeah.
And
so
events. But the other thing, Algared, that I'll add, and you've heard this a million times before, the only thing consistent about CIG is how inconsistent they are.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, we've said that many times, that the only thing that you can really take as being consistent is inconsistent.
Well,
but in general,
like to give an example, up until this week, they'd done 3 ships at every single sale. This time they only did 2.
Yeah.
That's a break. That's a break with tradition of 3 years. You know, so.
Yeah. And that part of why we were
expecting.
Why a lot of us were saying, oh, there's probably a ship in Alien Week. So, and that's why a lot of people had that idea. It was based on what CIG had previously done. Therefore, 3 ships. We've only got 2. Must be another one coming. What do you think it'd be? Oh, nothing's come. So,
Cass Killian just asked, you guys think we're going to see a new alien ship this week or no? Well, I think we just inadvertently answered that one.
Yeah.
I didn't read that until just then. I'd already asked it. Oh.
Yep. So next question from Alfario XA, or Fariox A. As a question, he says, with the amount of new players I've seen in the verse lately, what do you think should be the tutorial if CIG makes one that would help them out most? I think one that actually shows them how to get to their ship and initially just fly their ship. So you almost want really basic missions that literally, okay, go to your hangar, go to your, that level, just to start off. I don't know about you, Execute, but certainly if I've got new people who I'm taking through the game, they want to race off and get into the ship and fly, and then they'll pick all the missions they can do, and then they're absolutely just lost because it's just.
I don't think it's not even the tutorial that's the problem. The problem is the website.
Yeah, the website isn't.
Like,
monstrous.
if you can't even get into the game, they're assuming people can just get in.
Yep. Yeah, and it is a difficulty when people look at the game and they go, "Oh, you got to spend thousands of dollars to get into the game." You don't.
Yeah.
You know, that's a fallacy that's been put up by the. I hate to say, by the Star Citizen haters.
Yeah, and the media.
And the media. It's the only reason I can put it down. Yes, there are absolutely insanely priced packages and other things that blow your mind, but you only ever have to buy a starter pack, a $45 starter pack, and you've got the game, and you can play, and you can earn credits and get the bigger ships. And
the media of yesteryear is gone. Media now, all they care about is the number of clicks on a page, and they know from statistics that, you know, the worse something is, more like 6 times more likely to click on it. So that's just a really simple thing. We've even tested stuff here, like where we can write a title in, and I'll give an example of the ones we did. You know, the big ships and the small ships.
Yep.
We named them big ships not to buy, little ships not to buy, and they got more clicks than they should have done. And that's just because it had a negative title or a negative connotation. You know.
I kind of see that with the BMM. What have they done to the BMM? You know.
Oh, we did that too. What the hell did they do to the ship? Was
basically the text title of the BMM one we did recently, and we and Algared were talking about this morning, because like we were really tired when we recorded that, and we're like, man, we've so half-assed this. This is going to be a terrible episode. Nope, it tracked higher than normal. It's trading, you know, trending higher than normal in every category, and we're going, I don't get it.
Yeah. So if we can do it, not hard for them to do it, because they're professionals.
Yep. And we did, and we literally we were screwed. It was like 11 o'clock at night.
Yep.
It had been a busy day. So anyway, enough lamenting about our hardships. Blamsmith tested the thing for us again. Complex Logic has a question. How flexible do you think a ship customization will become, i.e., if you wanted to change arrangements of the Kraken's hangars, pads, would you be able to do that at some point in the future? Example, I don't think so.
I just shot a torpedo with that gun, he didn't die. What the hell's going
on? So how customizable will ships be? Certainly not as customizable as being able to change the hangars and pads on a Kraken. I think they're kind of bespoke. But being able to change a Kraken to, say, a privateer, that'll be something you can do in game. I think the idea of the levels of customization you could do, we saw with the options you got for the 300i. So I think that gives you an idea of where they were going or where they were thinking.
That time.
But yeah, what are your thoughts, Execute?
Totally.
What do you think?
What was the question?
What
Sorry.
do you think?
Let's concentrate on killing that dude.
Yep, that's okay. What do you think the level of customization will be? Will you be able to change hangars and pads, or will it be less?
Hangars and pads on what ships?
I gave an example. So, for example, on a Kraken, change hangars and pads, or will it be?
No, I think they'll be stuck for balance reasons.
Yep.
So yeah.
I think very early on, the idea was you'd buy a base ship like an Aurora or a Freelancer or a Connie or whatever, and they had upgrade points, and you would spend your upgrade. You know, you'd use upgrade points. So you know, having a bigger turret might be 2 upgrade points. Doing this may have been 1 upgrade point, and there were so many upgrade points they had for each ship. But that was gone even by the time I joined.
Yeah.
So even by it is. Yeah. That's ancient history, that style, and that would have been the most free upgrade path that you could have taken. These days, it is even the variants. Like even when I joined if you look at the Aurora ad, all the different variants of Aurora was showing you what you could do with your Aurora. You know, I want a bigger cargo pod. I'll take this one.
I think you're more likely to be able to choose, like, so if we talk internally, right? Because obviously you can change the colors of ship. They kind of said that. I think internally you'll probably be able to change the colors of certain things of your ship. I think you'll be able to, like, if you think of how the hangar works back in the day, and you could put up certain cosmetic items. You know, they had like nodes. It's how they've done in other games. You might be able to do certain things like change let's take the MSR. You might be able to go into the kitchen area and put a different fabric maybe on the couch or something like that. But again, this is all in the interest of time. It's like, how much do they want to go back in and add? You know, a more simple one that's generic that goes across all ships, because you got to think of it as in all ships. That's the easiest way to do. Is if they made it so every cockpit has a node where you can put a bubble head. You know, every cockpit has an area where you can put, you know, so they can put a couple of nodes in every cockpit, and it's standardized. You know, so you got to standardize it, and you got to make it kind of repeatable across multiple ships and stuff, and that's not always easy to do. But again, if you take something like I said with the MSR, there are kitchens in multiple ships. So can you, like the coffee maker, can you take that coffee maker that's in the 300 series and put it in other ships? And I'd say yes. Yeah,
if it's got a kitchen, absolutely should be able to. So, sorry.
That's all right.
So certainly those variant upgrades that they gave us, those aftermarket upgrades that they trialed with the 300, that was something we were expecting to see going forward was in everything.
Yeah.
But it's also it also adds a hidden cost to the 300. Like the 300 is a ship that is $5 more expensive than an Avenger Titan. But if you look at the upgrade, you know, the aftermarket upgrades, that ship could suddenly become almost the price of a Hornet, just in the different packs, different options you could take.
Yeah.
To get a different paint, a different color seat, different bedding. A clock, a coffee maker, and multiple other things. So there are things to, you know, that I could see that being a very, very lucrative microtransaction option that they would toss in down the track. So moving on.
What the hell? Why can't I not read?
This is a bug.
Yeah, it might be a bug. It won't let me.
No service required. No service
required.
But
I fired off 2 torpedoes, so they should 100%.
Maybe they don't have the missiles available. I don't know. Sorry, can't answer. Or it's a bug.
No, I'm at Grimhex. Someone asked if I was at Everest. No, I'm at Grimhex, but it won't let me. That's
no service available. Try taking off and doing it while you're floating.
That's a good point. Let's try that.
Nope. Okay, so Stacey Mason says, Algared, do you want to organise Bar Citizen meetup in Sydney?
That's what they're doing.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I've been in contact with Jez and we've been talking back and forth. So that's why I know that the plan is for the 16th.
Because Jez did the one at PAX that time where you and I met, though we didn't know who each other was back then. Yeah. He did that one.
Yes. No, he didn't do PAX. That was the PAX one was organised by people from Osmonauts, I think, back in the day.
Right.
Jez is the one of the founding leaders of Southern Cross Alliance, which is my organ. I think you're still a member of that.
Yeah,
you still join us for that, don't you?
Yeah, I'm in there.
So
just don't turn up to events and stuff much.
Yep. And we did tend to do, even before Bar Citizens, we used to meet up. You know, the org would do impromptu meetups, you know, probably once a month or once every 2 months. And then we ran the first Bar Citizen in Sydney. The first one, I think we did the first one in Melbourne as well, with a couple of other guys giving us assist. But generally we use the, you can follow the chat in the official Bar Citizen Australian group chat, and we've got channels for each on Discord and channels for each of the states and that. So yes, so that's what that's where we're heading. So I know it's the 16th, but checking out the location. So yeah, so yes, I am partly.
Algared won't let me sleep on his couch. No.
Well, man. It'll be very uncomfortable, trust me.
No, that's all right. No, I'm gonna Airbnb nearby, and just come around and prank call
and
you
annoy me.
And annoy you. Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
ADS Kepler has a question. He says, "What do you think about the Raylan? When should we expect it? And And will it grow like some of the other ships, MSR, BMM, etc.?
No, because it's a replacement for the BMM. I think they definitely will not let that thing grow.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to grow. And I think part of the reason it's not going to grow, it's a late ship.
Yeah,
so
that's true. That's a good point.
It's the early ships that we see grow.
But we both think it's a replacement for the original Merchman, you know, because of it's the blockade runner like it was originally concept. The BMM was originally concepted, yeah?
Yeah.
Or do you think different?
I'm not 100% certain it's a blockade runner. I think any small ship, any ship that's built for speed can be a blockade runner. I'm not sure whether that does blockade running because it seems bigger.
I think it certainly
has narrowed combat, but it's certainly, I think, and we've talked about this in the past, and I think it certainly is more of a blockade runner than the BMM, and I think they've kind of done that to appeal to that original.
I think a lot of it is in how the cargo's loaded and unloaded, and it's generally got a smaller cargo for the ships, for the number of players it has, and I think that's got the players, so it's kind of upped gun, but loses the thing, but yeah. It's a story for another time.
And I know there's a massive... people are still, arguing, blockade runner, and they'll say, oh, well, blockade runner has big guns or big this or big that. I think I know it's processing.
It worked.
Yep. No, I originally thinking it wasn't, and then I thought, oh, no, it's processing. But when you look at the ideas that were originally put forward, certainly forwarded as a BMM being this clipper ship where, you'd have, and I think part of that idea was that crew on clipper ships would have in their foot lockers, small items that they would trade, and that was the start, I think, of the markets on the BMM. And I think that's where the idea of it being a clipper ship came from. But if you look at the history of clipper ships, the most heavily armoured one I could find was one called the Thermopylae. It had 2 deck guns on it, and it had, I think, 20 muskets and a couple of shotgun or other types of weapons, and was basically to be used against pirates in the China Sea. Clipper ships were built specifically, as opposed to the normal merchant ships, to be sleek and fast, and the trade-off was they carried significantly less cargo. But for as long as I can recall, the BMM always had almost as much cargo as a hull C. And the second you do that, the second it's carrying as much as a regular merchant ship, it's not a clipper ship. It's not a fast ship. It's, if you look at the clipper ships from the 1860s, they were designed to be able to evade the Union blockades in America. That was part of their appeal.
Well, you and I talked about this, and I literally said, but then you got to add 1,000 years, and of course you're gonna have guns.
Yep.
They didn't have guns back then because the cannons were, they were cannons. They were literally really heavy,
Yep.
And in space you don't have that same thing. So it's a bit of a change, yes, but I still think.
But if you're going for that sleek and that, you're not going to have size 8 guns. You're going to have pew shooters or things. So, and in the last week or so, since I've been talking that debate, I was trying to think what ships really do have that in our verse so far. Are those fast, agile ships that could slip past a blockade and are lightly armed. And one of the ships that I thought falls into that is an MSR. It's not made for that.
MSR is a smuggler, but I'm talking like when I go through there's a multiple smuggling ships. I think the Raelian is 100% a smuggling ship. And we've gone through this before. So that's all right. We'll see in the interest of time. What's the next question?
And I think that's the case. We'll find out with the Raelian how close or how much it is that type of ship as it comes out and as more developed. But at the moment, it is a concept ship, so it could go way over the top smuggling ship. It could go way the other way, and we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah. Stinkfinger. Have a Carrack, not an expedition pack, and still cannot name it. And CIG changed the naming schedule for something. No, to my knowledge, Stinkfinger, the Carracks should be nameable. If you can't name it, it could be the name has gone. If it doesn't have a list of the name, I have no idea what's going on. But you should find the name option appears in the hangar option, and you should see, where pack says one nameable ship, and when you click that, it would open up which ships are nameable. So that's about the best I can do. If it's still not working, contact concierge or customer help. No other thoughts for that, is there, on your side? Execute?
No.
All right. Chabawaki. Do you think the BMM will be able to take luxury transport missions for NPCs? What are your thoughts?
Sorry, I'm shooting shit. This guy's being a pain in the ass.
BMM, will it be able to do luxury transport missions for NPCs?
No, you and I talked about this. Sorry. Yeah, no.
Yeah, the VIP rooms that they've got, possibly, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
VIP rooms do not translate to VIP gameplay. It's what they decide, and that's why you got to wait and see. And it's a right to wait and see. Even if it can, I don't think they'll make it as good as what the 890 can do, or the ships that it's got specifically aimed for that. But as with everything, they do want that overlap. So wait and see. I see ISDHB question. Have you discussed the looks of the BMM? I'm referring to the outside look. We did in our last video. Yeah, that's just a perspective thing if you're talking about the duck bill. As soon as I looked at it, I was like, oh, people are crying over nothing again.
I originally thought it looked very Origin, but when I was going through some of the clicks, and we talked about this in the video we did, I thought that it looked very Banu. In the end, I changed my mind, and certainly in the video when they were showing it and they did the close-up of the ships, you could see the Banu influences in the patterning and the gold leaf and all the other stuff. So yeah.
I keep clicking the wrong button, Algared. I've like flown past 3 times.
I was wondering why you were missing.
Yeah,
you've got a red wingtip now, so
yeah, I've been shot. I'm on my last torpedo too. This guy just does not want to die.
Well, it helps if you press the right button. It's not him not wanting to die. You just don't want to kill him.
Yeah, that's it. All right, here we go.
I think you were too close then, weren't you?
He should have died, and I don't know why he's not.
I think your missile went out when it went just in the too close range bracket, but I could have been wrong. Next question. Block Menace Mafia says, would my spaceship become an NFT in the future so I could sell in-game items? An NFT? I'm not sure what you mean.
He means a non-fungible token. It's a crypto thing. No.
Okay.
That's not going to happen.
There you go. No. All right. So so could you sell?
There would be way too much backlash if that happened.
So will you be able to sell in-game items? Yes, to in-game people.
Yes.
Will you be able to sell them to cash? Who knows? Is there any way to police that? Probably just as badly as gold miners on other games. So, yeah. Sandgroper, are we going to see more live content on Twitch? This is our trial.
This is our trial. Like I streamed on Twitch for a while, but the main problem is I'm someone that interacts off other people, and I need someone else there, or I go to a weird space. So that's my mental problem. I guess if
we both suffer. We both suffer from that playing and being mere males.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if Algared wants to stream gameplay or anything like that, I got no problem with him doing that if he wants to. I may do it from time to time, but I'm probably more likely to do that on my own Execute channel. But as I said, it's the same problem. Yeah.
Yep. And I did for a while do a little bit of streaming on YouTube and Twitch with Just a Tune, but I haven't done that for a while now due to work commitments and other stuff. So
Yeah.
it's something I want to get back to, but Eric Loosmith has a question. What milestone will a game have to reach for the discourse around it being vaporware scam to end? It'll never end. The haters are always going to call it a scam, and they're always going to call it vaporware.
Yeah. I think it'll probably go down a fair bit when Squadron actually comes out the door, though. Yeah. I don't think it'll ever fully subside, though.
No. Yeah.
Because haters going to hate. That's just who they are.
Yeah. Like, I've often thought that the gameplay we've got now is, even though it's incomplete, even though it's broken, even though it's junky at times and clunky, I've always thought that what we've had, even when we only had Arena Commander, I always thought that was much better than half the games we had that were AAA games that were out. So, yeah, and it was still being called scam and vaporware there then, and I think that we're never going to get beyond that. People are always going to call it that. So, Jeremy T has a question. In our opinion, what's it going to take to get the Endeavour started?
A gameplay that is in the game that works, that it can use, and I'd probably have to say medical is probably the closest, unless you can think of another one, Algared.
I'm going to say, to get the Endeavour started, every other shipping game to be done.
No, I've thought about this quite a bit lately, because I've had a few people ask me, and I think if they wanted to do it earlier, they could. So they'd do the ship itself, and then it's the modules that, and then just over time add more and more modules. So I have thought about it quite a bit. But
and I suppose given the fact that we've now got hangars working in game, ship hangars working, so we've got the hangar on the Carrack, the hangar on the even the ship docking port on the 89 on the Constellation, and the hangar in the 890 working. That actually means, okay, you can get the hangar on the Endeavour working. It means we've got medical gameplay working and the hospitals working. That means you could get the medical, the Endeavour Hope aspect working. So I could see the Endeavour Hope being made, but I know
that might be the first one they get off the ground, and then as I said, over time, they add science in, so they add the science modules and etc, etc, etc. But
I know it's also one of those things that John Crew has always said it'd be the last ship I made because it was so big.
Yeah.
And it has already, even on paper, it's ballooned out of beyond proportion. So, Blamsmith says, "Have you ever played BSG board game? It has Cylon traitors."
What's it called?
No, I haven't.
What's it called? What was it called?
The Battlestar Galactica board game.
I have
traitors.
Yeah, I have played it. The only problem with that is that style of game is it takes way too long. So a lot of these social deduction games, some of them can be played as simple as 15 minutes. Blood on the Clock Tower takes an hour, maybe 2 hours. But yeah, Battlestar Galactica was just a real grind. It was too slow. It's the slowest I've seen by a country mile.
Was that a miniatures game or
yeah, I think it was standees, and it was from the TV series, and you had the whole Battlestar Galactica, and so you'd be moving around the ship, but because of the Cylons, they were the spies. So yeah, it's very thematic. I'll give it that. Like, it's one of the best from a thematic perspective, but it was just too slow. And most people, if they weren't into Battlestar Galactica, they didn't give a shit. I enjoyed it, but again, I've played many social deduction, and it's not the best, unfortunately. Like, at the time, yep. Now what is it, 10, 15 years later? No.
Yep. I did see a message that had been sent saying, "Hey, where is the Bar Citizen info?" Certainly on Discord, there is the Bar Citizen Australia group.
Can you get me a link and just check it in chat? To the Discord, and then they can go find it for themselves. Yeah.
Just gotta find it. That one, I think. Yes. Copy and put it back. And so that is the link, or should be the link, to the the official Bar Citizen Australia group. And you'll see any discussion about any Bar Citizens in Australia will end up being posted or discussed in there. And as soon as the Bar Citizen New South Wales is sorted, so as soon as that's sorted, we'll then I imagine the individual orgs will start.
Don't get any on you.
Then the orgs will start. Certainly, SCA will certainly be singing about that. So yeah. So at the moment, we're still searching for it. We're still trying to lock down a venue. So sorry, I can't give you any more than that. The Simperix. Go back to our question channel so I don't get lost. Do stream questions. Okay, so the next question from. Down to where we were, because moving out of the page blew it. Next question. Done that one as well because it was repeated. Thank you for Blam Smith for doing it on both Twitch and YouTube. Apple Crow, did you all get to play Star Citizen Traders, the board game designed by Dave Lederman, who used to do the Jump Point magazine?
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't. I did like the idea. I certainly think that was a game that CIG at one point was playing to kind of, as they were thinking the mechanics of the way trade would work. And I know it was certainly based on, or at least the version they were playing of Star Traders was based on the SG, the Star Citizen universe. Axis 0096 has a question for you. Execute. What Australian beer do you like?
Yeah, I'm kind of biased. I'm not a big beer drinker, but I come from the town that creates Bogues. And I think even Algared would admit that Bogues is a bit more of a premium beer than some of the others.
It's definitely a premium beer.
And because it's available in my hometown, it's actually cheaper than most of the other beers. So we tend to drink that here just because it's premium and it is the same price. So it's like, well, you know, you got premium and normal and they're the same, you drink the premium. So yeah, I'm a bit biased, so yeah. But I'm not a big beer drinker. I'm more of a spirits person.
So, yeah, I always preferred when I was a bit younger. I used to prefer Cooper's Pale Ale.
Yep.
I think that's South Australian company.
I did live in Queensland for a time, and so I did get used to 4X for a while. Never was a big fan of VB.
No Australians ever a fan of VB. That's our export stuff.
No, Foster's. Foster's is the export crap.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Foster's and VB. I find them both as bad, but yeah, Foster's. No one drinks Foster's in it. I don't think in Australia. It's certainly crap. But yeah, it's always funny when people say, we got Foster's in it. Yeah. You can keep that.
What the hell was going on there? I couldn't even see her.
Okay, so for execute. Okay, so Page asked, what do you think about people learning the alien languages in real life? I've been learning the Banu glyphs, RN and Anunnaki deck, and have about 60% memorized. We'll learn vocab, syntax later too. I reckon but some people learning languages is a fun, exciting, interesting process, and knowing those languages will help you in the game down the track. If you're trading with Banu and you know the language, you're gonna know certain things that someone who doesn't know can't. If you know Xi'an and you know it well, you're going to be able to understand messages or that come up. And so yeah, I used to know Quenya and Sindarin and Klingon and but I don't anymore because languages are unlike riding a bike. You don't forget how to ride a bike. You do forget your vocab if you're not using it. So, and thanks for telling me I'd froze and execute.
Oh, I didn't even notice. Sorry. I didn't even notice.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't looking. Dude, if you can't tell, I'm struggling big time here. Keeps locking onto the wrong person. There we go. Nope.
So, next question.
Wasn't this person called Bell or something?
Maybe. Monkey. Interesting, yeah. So, yep. All right, so next question from find where I am again because I just lost my place. Naxorprist. Are you interested in both mechanical wristwatches and Star Citizen? Get a Rolex or a Kraken?
Oh, that's your personal preference, dude.
Yep.
We cannot make that call for you because we don't know shit about Rolexes.
Given that I don't own a Rolex, given that, you know, I don't really want to own a Rolex, you know. If I were the only two choices, I'd say Kraken, but, you know, as Execute said, that's on you, mate. Don't blame us if you pick one and then decide you really wanted the other. Axis 0096 has another question. They say, what would a Crusader starter ship look like? Their shuttle.
Hang on. Woohoo! Got it finally.
Nice one. Yep.
We're out
So
of here.
what would a Crusader starter ship look like?
Starter ship? I never thought of that. That's a really good question. I'd have to think about that. Well, it'd be cheaper, so we're thinking it's you know, a step above Drake. You know, the ironically funny thing is, you kind of look at the Avenger and it's kind of similar. Do you know what I mean? Like it's yeah, I don't think we'll see one just because it probably would seem very similar to the Avenger. If they actually swapped the Avenger over to Crusader and then made a new Aegis one, I could get behind that.
I could even see the current Avenger kind of fitting into that Crusader style. Maybe I'm just off my rocker.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd probably be very similar to that. If I were going on what they had now, I know the shuttle that flies around Crusader. I know when that first came out, people were saying, I want it.
Well, you really, I think the other way to look at it, Algared, is what do the other starters do? You know, and they're all just kind of like a bit of cargo and a bed and food.
Sometimes not even a bed. Sometimes just, you know, some weapons, a bit of cargo, and that's about it. It's the bare minimum.
You know, because the other question is, like, I start thinking about it, so does that mean we're going to get an Argo starter ship? You know, stuff like that. The other question is, do we need one? Like, it's pretty flooded down there at the moment. I'd be more likely to say, what about, so let's go a step up to say the Cutlass and the Freelancer. I'd be more likely to put a ship there. But, you know, you know.
I could see a position of selling the shuttle. You know, the shuttle they got flying around the bits of Crusader at the moment.
I just don't see a need for it because it's
only because there's the passenger transport.
But are you just going to play tour guide? Like, is that a profession you want to play?
Well, I don't, but you know, someone might.
I don't know, Algared. I reckon you'd make a pretty sexy flight attendant. Just saying. Just saying. I think you could pull it. I think you could pull that uniform off.
No, skirts just don't go.
No, I never said a skirt. It's just you don't need to wear a skirt.
Yeah, I know there are male flight attendants, but I was just playing up to the stereotype.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, Axis. I could see that passenger type thing going just because people say, oh, we need a taxi.
Well, throw that.
I could see that being that, but
throw that question back to chat. Do you think we need another starter ship, or do you think it's better to fill out some other areas like what I said around the Cutlass and the Freelancer?
Can you create a poll and have some real interaction in our thing going?
Yeah, I can. Hang on. Yeah, I can.
So, do we need another starter ship?
Create a poll. Yep. Do we need another starter ship? We might have to do a couple of polls to get this answered.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, we got to do polls occasionally. Got to get that interaction going.
All right, there goes poll. We'll roll that for a couple minutes. All right, polls up.
Oh, we got a 50-50 at the moment. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Probably only got 6 votes, and we're 50-50. There you go.
I'd definitely say these missions are easier, but they're also expensive because, like, I got 26,000 for that mission, but I spent 10,000 on the torpedoes.
Yeah.
So when you get way up the top, yes, 100%. If you take it a hammerhead in one shot, totally can get behind that. But at the current level that I'm at, not so much.
But how quicker are you moving up that ladder? Is probably the other thing to consider.
I'd say it's roughly the same because I'm having to fly in a certain way, and sometimes I can just fly straight in, shoot the guy, and leave. So I'd say at higher levels, yes, it works. But I'm going to be honest with you, I wouldn't buy a whole ship based around just the end mission, the end chain of missions. So I can't quite get. I can see why Level Cap recommended it, but I can't get behind it. But then again, I would also struggle to find 10 ships to recommend right now. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to do something about this ship because that is driving me fucking bananas.
So another question from Aurelius Indomitus. He says, do you think, as an example, with a Banu language, there will be game loops that you can read or understand, but doing the missions you'll be able to understand more? I think there'll be some missions. I wouldn't be surprised if there'd be some missions that if you can't read or can't get a translation of it, you can't do the mission. But that's just me.
Your camera's frozen again, bud. I just realised. My apologies.
That's okay.
So that thing we brought you didn't fix it?
I did, but it's because I clicked out of the windows I was in, so...
Yeah, fair enough. We really need to get you a second monitor, Algared, just for questions, I think. So, mounted above.
Whenever I change the application I'm using, it freezes my my camera.
Yeah.
Which is better than the situation we did have earlier in the week. I literally had no. We turned on the camera to do something, and I literally had no camera. It just the little.
Which was the first. It was freaking me out because I'm like, oh great, now I've got camera problems, and now I've got camera problems.
Yeah, so we were a bit concerned we'd have significant issues this week. But a new battery power pack seemed to have worked out, and even when we got the new one, there were issues with it. But it took a while to get it going, and without the constant. When we first put it in, I was getting like 10 seconds, and every 10 seconds it'd just freeze, and it was just not sitting in right. But it took a bit of work and a bit of effort, but yeah, it hasn't frozen or turned off since, so that's a good thing. Matthew has a question. He says, do you think there will be more job?
Your camera's not back, by the way.
Sacre bleu.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the issue that I had, I'm just wondering whether...
I'm thinking it might be Ninja that's done it again. It seems to not like when
okay, I'll have a... No,
Who was the last person to ask the question, man?
The last question was from Matthew. Do you think there will be more Tavaran ships?
Oh yeah, for sure. I was actually expecting one today, if I'm completely honest with you.
Yep. No, my camera has stopped, so it's saying it's not working on Sparko at the moment. So it has died all of a sudden.
All right, I'll just Alt-Tab and turn the panel off. Hold on.
Yep. And moving on to our question, so I'll just be the voice in the void.
There it is. Yep, cool. Okay.
And we finally reached our Cascadian's question, which we answered before, which was, do we think we'll have another alien ship this week? And our answer is no.
Well, I was hoping. But
yeah, we were hoping.
It looks like there's not going to be one now.
Yeah. So. We were hoping until ISC, and then after ISC, the answer was probably not. But we expect they would have plugged it during ISC.
Yeah.
Axis, 096. How much do you think the paints for the Banner Merchantman will be? Stripe, will be an arm and a leg.
Is there one for the 890 jump at all?
No.
So I think the Carrack, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. The Carrack was $26.
Yeah.
That was in a, yeah. So yeah, I'd expect at least that.
Yeah. An arm and a leg. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Apple Crow. When do you think we'll see the Raelian or Santoki Eye? When they put people on it to work on it?
Yeah, they're not high priority at the moment.
Unless either of those, unless they're needed for squadron. And when they're done, they're done.
Yeah.
Santoki Eye is another fighter. Do we need it?
No.
Raelian is another trader. Yeah, nice to have, but both of those ships, yeah, 6 to 1, half a dozen other when they come. Tokyo Guda has a question. Do you think the Star Citizen development will be complete before proper Star Citizen alternative comes along? Huge fan of X4 and other style space sims. Yeah,
this has been a hot topic at the moment because of obviously Starfield. But I think you can kind of see from what Starfield is becoming, no one else is still laying down that groundwork. So you can, the only other thing that's really close to Star Citizen at all is No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
And even then, No Man's Sky's got certain things, but it doesn't have other things. And I think that's probably the closest game that we'll see to Star Citizen. But
yeah, I tend to agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly at the moment, No Man's Sky certainly still is the closest we've got in terms of everything you can do, and even at that, you can't walk around your individual ship. You're still a fighter. Yeah. It's still fairly.
So that's the end of the poll there. 60% of people said we do not need another starter ship. 40% said
there
yes.
You go.
So yeah. I'm going to ask my follow-up question. Do you think we need another ship around the Cutlass / Freelancer size? And when I say that, I should just reword that. Another general ship. I'm going to call it a general because they're general, General ship around the. All right, so I'm just curious to know what you guys think. So we'll run the poll. See how it goes. Because I would personally prefer something around that size.
Yep.
And 3 is a nice number, but again, I could see a Crusader and well, I guess you got the Raft. That kind of is already there, isn't it, for Argo? So yeah, but something from Crusader at that size is what I should have said. So damn, too late. But yeah, that's what I should have said. A Crusader ship.
Yeah.
Can you just mentally note that if you're listening to me, guys? Crusader ship at that size. Yeah, sorry.
And to go back to Tokyo Guda's question, I didn't really like X4. I thought X4 was clunky. That was just my experience. So yeah. And I can see Starfield, from what I see, doing a lot, but it's a single player game, so I don't think it compares at all. What paints do you think the BMM will have?
What? Sorry? What
paints do we think the BMM will have?
Yeah, we talked about. Yeah. Oh man, whatever they decide to do.
Before, this is now what type will they have?
Yeah, that's.
Whatever CIG decide to give us.
There'll be colours and patterns. That's what they'll have. Yeah. You ask a vague question, I give you a fake answer.
Yeah. So that was Axis 096 asking that. What types of paints do you think?
Just label him mods as smart ass, and we can know.
Axis has another question. He says, "Do you think one of the ships they're working on ahead of Pyro could be the Liberator?"
Yeah, we did think about this, and I think I was talking to Badges about it. That's probably the earliest we could possibly see it.
Yeah.
I've just realised that really annoying beeping wasn't coming from the ship; it's coming from me.
Oh, there you go. I can't hear it on mine, so that's great. I don't mind.
It's driving me nuts. But I bet you can you guys hear that in stream? Because if you guys can hear in stream, I'm going to store this ship and restart the game. If someone can tell me they can hear that, because I've got a feeling you guys can, and it's obviously got to be annoying you guys too. so I'll go store it. Anyway, next question, Algared.
All right, so next question comes from Zelcon. Zelcon says, what if all medbeds allowed respawn but had consequences? Tier 3 had the Tier 3 had Tier 2 and Tier 1 injuries persist, but also have limited supplies to regenerate a body to balance ship versus station spawn.
I think he kind of called it there himself. That's what it's for. Balance reasons.
Yeah.
100%.
Otherwise, you know,
there's no if there's no risk, what's the point of playing?
Yeah, and if there's no risk, if there's no difference in a Tier 1 bed on a Cutlass Red to an Apollo's Tier 1 bed or a hospital bed, then why go a big ship? So, and I imagine the suppliers would have an issue to do with it, but yeah, JC Kaboom has a question. Any news leaks on Vanduul rework ships?
No.
There was talk about an update to the Blade, where they, in one of the Spectrum chats, where they were saying they increased the damage of the Blade's weapons and I think the flight model a little bit to make it slightly better than a Gladius, or at least on par with a Gladius. So I think the damage output's better than a Gladius, but it's slower. So if you get hit by the cannons, it'll do a lot more damage, but it's slower.
Are you trying to fix your camera, Algared, or are you just done?
I stopped because it's my Sparko cam is saying the camera's out, so the camera's not working.
Oh, okay.
The camera's down. So I'd have to get up and fidget and play around. So, unfortunately, whereas usually it's just Sparko cam freezing, but Sparko cam has literally black screened, which I don't usually get. So, unfortunately,
it's okay.
So yeah, so with the med beds, I'm not sure. Vanduul rework, yes, they have talked about it. They certainly did something with the Blade, and that the Blade being better than a Gladius fits in with lore. So when they were doing the stepping stones, it's kind of this arms race between the Vanduul and humans. You've got Gladius not being on par with the Blade. They bring in the Hornet. The Hornet's better than a Blade, but then they bring in the Scythe. The Scythe is better than a Hornet. They bring in the F7A. F7A is better than, you know, and so it's scaling up. So yeah, and I can't remember the exact stepping, but it was, you know, Gladius, Blade, I think, Hornet. So it steps up. And I think at the moment our newish, the F7A is better than the Glaive, but then I think the next ship along that the Vanduul bring out is on par or better than, but we haven't seen that yet. So, looking for the next question because I lost my space.
Yeah, we're having a lot of issues with our cameras. I'm just wondering if they're coming to the end of their life or something. But yeah, they're not cheap to replace, obviously.
No.
And
unfortunately,
you're looking at like $2,000, which is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Just to put that in kind of comparison, that's almost a full PC that a standard person would buy. So it's quite a expensive piece of equipment. Sorry, Algared.
Yep. Next question: limited respawns. Feels like our cameras at the moment. How would a failed release of Squadron affect CIG?
Dead in the water.
Okay. It'd kill it, I think.
Yep, I do too. I don't think they can afford to let it fail, and I think that's why they're going to take as much time as they can to polish it, and they've kind of said as much to that effect.
And they certainly don't, you know, they don't want it to be like other games where, it's come out and you've got to do a major patch just to make it work.
Yeah, and
they want it to be...
And he talked about Cyberpunk quite a bit when that came out, so yeah, I'd assume that's what he's, you know, kind of what happened with that.
Yep, 100% agree with that. So, yeah, I think they're aware that as Squadron tanks, it will really impact the PU and everything else. would it still be viable? They probably keep going based on the backers that we've got at the moment.
Algared, is there any food at Port Alisar or only drinks?
You can go into, I think, the Dumpers Depot and get some bars.
I just went in there and there wasn't there.
Yeah, on the side there, to your left.
Oh, this is the gun store, but yeah, close enough. Army rations.
Gun store, sorry.
Delicious. Okay, food. Why you not go up? There we go.
Because it takes time.
Yeah.
Chocolate bar is always good.
Gotta hit the stomach, I guess.
So Hildoff has a question. He says, what exploring capabilities do you think will have the front Endeavour part have in? So what exploring capabilities will the Endeavours cab have versus the Freelancer, Duo, and Odyssey?
So the main one would be that going into sun, the corona of the sun stuff, yeah? Yeah. So more scientific, yeah?
It's very heavily armoured, so it can go into places where normal ships can't. So it can go into the corona of the sun to do those types of things. I think in Maw there's only one other ship that's kind of been designed to do that, and that was I think a Hammerhead variant where they kind of re-kitted it. A weird Hammerhead variant. They kind of bought it and re-kitted it out, so and then they'd fly in really close to the sun and do.
Dude, if they ever release, they like release the privateer. If they ever do that and they're like Hammerhead 2 and it can go into the sun, oh boy. That'll piss me off like crazy. Yeah.
There is certainly in lore one a bit like the Hull, the version of a Hull C that never flies into races with cargo. It just does these lewd messages.
Yeah, CIG, you can release that if you want, but if you release that as your main ship for the entire year, you are going to disappoint a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's probably the big thing with that. And when you look at the Endeavour, yes, you could use your cab as probably an exploration ship, but it's the exploration that the Endeavour is doing is going to be more, I think, linked to that telescope, and it's a different style of that exploration loop, or a different part of that exploration loop, I think. So Upgrade has a question. I've got a Corsair, Crucible, Endeavour, and BMM. If you could recommend one more ship, what would...
Sorry, say the ships again, please.
Corsair, Crucible, Endeavour, and BMM.
Yep.
And if we're recommending one more ship, what would it be to focus on upgrading and selling ship components in the verse? I would certainly say Reclaimer. So you use your Reclaimer to pick up the broken or components, and then you fix them on your Crucible, and then you sell them in your BMM. Yeah,
I'd agree with that. But my only thing, I just don't think the Corsair is a good choice for those three. But hey, you do you. I'd also upgrade the Corsair. I do agree with the Kramer, but I'd also upgrade more to probably maybe the MSR, so you can do a bit of smuggling with it. You know what I mean? If you need to move certain special components around and stuff, because you've already also got the Merchantman, so you can sell and transfer normally as well. So there's too much of a similarity for me between the Corsair and the Merchantman. And I know everyone will claim that the Corsair is an explorer, and yeah, I reckon you probably can explore with it. But let's be honest, the Aquila is going to be twice the explorer that a Corsair is going to be. It's a pirate ship at the end of the day. If you want to pirate with it, yeah, go nuts. But I just don't think that links in with what you said. But hey, wait and see. Prove me wrong.
Yep.
I have been wrong before.
I think I'd agree with the Corsair. I'd go MSR because it gives you, I think it opens more gameplay loops for you. That extra ship, though, Reclaimer, use that to salvage parts and components which you repair in your Crucible and update in your Endeavour and then sell in your BMM. So it ties in with a loop we've often talked about in terms of those parts. So yeah. Texas Space Navy has a question. Do you think we will ever get a concept sale of a Vanduul Stinger?
No. They've kind of not really sold. Okay, we did technically get the Legionnaire. Can I say I hope not? Does that cover it? Like, I just think the whole selling of Vanduul ship thing through Asperia was, yes, it raises money, but it just feels like a gimmick. And because they're human made, they're never going to be as good as the alien counterparts, and you're paying, it's almost like you're buying a statue type of thing, because they're just not going to be the same as the alien ones, and they're not as good as the human ones. So they're in this weird place, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird thing. And I get frustrated when I get into a glaive or a blade, and you've got the glitchy combat control computer that they've got, even though they're human ships. Whereas on the Scythe, which is an alien ship, you kind of can cope with that. It works. But when it's a human reconstruction, to me, the ship HUD glitching doesn't seem to be all that logical. But that's just me. Right, moving on.
Yep.
Just finding where I am again. Okay, so Jeremy has a question. Do you think they'll come up with a Xeon ship that is similar in size and scope to the 600i?
Hang on. I'm having this stupid bug.
It's okay. My thought would be eventually we'll get, they'll do alien ships that fit each size. But
So what was the question again? Sorry,
so the question is, do we think they'll come out with a Xeon ship that is similar in size and scope to the 600?
Oh, that's how long is a piece of string? That's one of those questions, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
They can go anywhere they want there. And being an explorer type ship, that's kind of been a little bit done. So how do you? Yeah, I can't answer that, man. Sorry, that's too vague.
I think down the track, certainly. If they bring in Xeon character gameplay, certainly they'll have flashed out ships and all the rest of it. But be aware that, we know that the Xeon really like the Hull C and Hull D. They build it under license. It was that license to build the Hull C and D that actually resulted in gameplay for building the MISC freelance string law. So the MISC freelance comes about as a result of a contract agreement with MISC that enabled them to build that Hull C and D. But yeah. Tokyo Gouda has a question. Outside of Star Citizen, what other games have you been playing?
Deep Rock Galactic. Playing a fair bit of that. Hunt Showdown. And I'm about to die. Yeah, Algared, you answer that one.
Yep. For me, lately it's been the brain dead games. So games like Enlist or War Thunder are games that I've been playing because they're kind of arena combat situations, and when I'm brain dead, I don't have to think. So yeah. I don't get to play Star Citizen as much as I'd like.
There we go.
Oh.
That kind of answers that question for me. It is not as I don't know. It really depends on the ship too.
Yeah. Respawn has a question for you. I'd raise a question. Do we need starter ships or starter packages with swappable ships to try each profession?
Do we really need starter ships? No.
Well,
professional starters? Yes. Starter ships? No.
I think what we need is game packs where you just an empty game pack with just a game and a character, and then you can just buy, and then there's the standalone ships and you just buy and not those as you need or what.
I do think eventually, like when Star Citizen comes out, you'll buy the game, you'll load in, and it'll come up with all the starter ships and say, pick which one you want. And there'll be, 5 or 6 different ones there you can pick, and they'll all say this does this and this does that and this does this, and you'll pick. And I think that's how it'll be. But at the moment, because they're trying to run funds, that's how it's done.
Yep.
It's sold.
And it's the same with those extra, the whole argument about extra game packs.
Yeah.
At the moment, you can buy an extra game pack with a ship, but I'm almost 100% certain down the track you'll have the option, just like in almost every other MMO I've ever played, you could buy additional character slots for your account.
How would you feel when you load up the game, like what I said, but it goes, but also you could chuck it $50 and you could go to this ship? How would that make you feel?
I think other games do that type of thing as well. You know, it's a yeah. Depends how high they'd go and what they're looking at. I know when I started, the very first ship I bought was a Constellation because it was a multi-crew ship, and I was thinking me and my mates, because I didn't think many of my mates would actually buy the game or want to buy ships, but I could see them eventually getting the bare minimum game pack, joining in game and joining the ship.
These doors need an animated proxy mesh. They don't actually have a proxy mesh. But that's just because I want to close that again, because it did actually catch me for a second.
An authorized medical exemption form is required as proof of...
Okay, so...
Oh, no, it does have a proxy mesh. Okay.
Mark Johnson has a question for you.
Sure, shoot.
He says, when will we get lifts and ramps on the Caterpillar for loading cargo? Will we get detachable control modules, as mentioned early on? Yes, we will get the detachable control module, as mentioned early on. I think that'll come at some point. It's certainly going to use a similar type of system that we use on the P-52 or docking. So I think that has been solved. It's just a matter of now breaking that ship up and treating that little command module as a separate ship. The lifts, when they get around to it and solve any of the issues that they had with the lifts being both a lift and a ramp, of course. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it comes back to modules again, doesn't it? So it's a tough one. I'm going to go where I went with the Endeavour one and go, yeah, they could go back and do all the cargo modules first, couldn't they? So there's no reason they could just, because they're modules, they have to all be done in one go. They could do modules by modules. So yeah, I would agree that they could go back and do that, because there's things like that I hope they'll do as well for things like the Caterpillar, you know, the elevators on the Caterpillar and stuff like that.
That's the question. When do you think we'll get the lifts and elevators working on the Caterpillar, and when will the command pod separate? Is basically the question. Or will we get the command pod? I think yes, we'll get the command pod separate.
I think we'll get the elevators before the command pod. Yep. But comes down to priority.
Yep.
And I think there is, definitely gonna be a priority there for cargo, but not the separating of the module yet.
Yep. Because I don't think it's needed yet. But is the technology there for that command pod there? Yeah, because we've now got docking and
I think the other part is also the cargo itself, because at the moment it's just popping in and off. There's no actual physical loading. I don't think there's a need for the lifts until we have physical loading. Yeah. So yeah. Okay.
And I think you'd agree here. That's why I think we'll see the lifts and the ramps worked on first, because when physical loading comes in, they're going to be needed.
Yep. So I just entered the poll there, and the poll was 73% of people said yes. So that's almost the complete opposite of what we just had at the last one. So most people don't think we need more starters, but they do. I'm going to make
more middle-sized ships.
I think people can say, I don't know, you got maybe I need to do another poll. I don't want to put words in people's mouth, but yeah, maybe filling out the lineup a bit more, because like again, the reason why I picked the Cutlass and the Freelancer, oh god, look at that fraddling just froze with my eyes like Anyway, just totally distracted myself with my own freeze. Yeah, because you look at the higher end where the general daily drivers are up the top. You know, you've got MSR now, Constellation, you've got Caterpillar, you know, you've got the Corsair coming. There's a few up there, Retaliator, things like that. You know, we've got 5 or 6 up there. But you come back down between the two groups, there is clearly a gap there, but with just a Catalyst and Freelancer. And I think I think a Crusader ship could go there. I really, really do. And a general cargo ship. So think of like a ship that's the size of the Ares, but it's cargo. Could you in fact, in a ironically weird turn of phrase, take the Ares and make it into a Cutlass / Freelancer competitor? I asked that question. Have a think on that for a minute, Algared, and then tell me. Yeah.
It's an interesting one. I think in the size of a ship you could. In the lore, no, because it's built around their big, massive gun type thing.
Do you know what would be really cool? Is if they made it like that, like a mini Javelin, Jupiter. You know, the whole fold-out tech thing that we were talking about with the that big. So it almost makes it like a whole competitor or a raft competitor. But then again, you want it to be generalized too, so it's got to be able to do vehicles.
Yeah, I think if you were going for that size, that Freelancer / Cutlass size, you'd be looking at something like a raft competitor from.
Well, it's got to be able to take rocks though, because both the Freelancer and the Cutlass can take rocks. So that's what I think you need.
Yeah, I'm talking in size, you know, like that raft size.
Yeah, now I'm with you. Right, sorry, I thought you were saying just cargo.
The amount of cargo, but you'd want it to be able to do that type of thing. Yeah, so. Yep. Okay, so Mark Johnson. No, that's been answered. Duncan. Duncan Simpson has a question. Will we get a new original concept Nomad Warbomb pack? No, because the original concept is already gone.
Yeah, it's done, bro. It's gone.
So, and that was
2 years too late on that one, mate.
If you're asking, will we ever get another pack for a concept ship like that one that had the 20k UEC, a skin, a ship, Squadron 42, and everything else? Yes, but only if I think they feel that the ship is so crap that they've got to pad it out. Because that's why I think we got all that with that original concept of the Nomad. And I know in chat, and I know in the discussion, I know there are lots of you who love the Nomad. All the best to you, but it's not a ship I've liked. I've never really liked the Nomad.
A lot of what you and I say, Algared, always comes back to value, doesn't it?
Yep. And,
I want you to know that everything that Execute says is a lie.
You do know we're in a live stream, right, bro?
Oh, sorry.
So that's Dig That 32 for those that can't realize who the voice is. But yeah, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for not immediately kicking me out.
No, that's fine. We're on live on YouTube and Twitch at the moment. So yeah.
So you actually live? Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Haven't liked or subscribed to either of those streams, do so now, because you know that's your penance. That's your penance.
And how nice of a guy this is. Make sure you subscribe to him too. Just so you can experience some pleasant stuff, man. This dude's nice, man.
Have you actually met? You said you didn't think you'd met Algared before, but I'm pretty sure Algared has met you before.
Have we met Algared? I don't think we have we?
I don't think so.
Oh.
But
Hey, how you doing, sir? I was asking Execute. I was like, so what's he like? Do you think we would get along?
Thank you.
He's like, no, man. If you came in here, Algared would punch you in the mouth. I was like,
does that sound like me, Algared?
Sounds like you. Yes.
Oh, right. Sure.
Yeah. Words into my mouth. You'd have said it in jest rather than. Yeah. You know, you've been saying it with a laugh in your voice rather than, oh no, he's going to beat you up because he, you know.
Yeah. All right. Sure.
You know, so it would have been, if you'd said it, it would have been in jest, not.
Who needs enemies with friends like you two? Right? Yeah. Sure.
Well, right. You're the other half of Inforunners that I've not met, right? You're the other half of Inforunners.
The other sixth, I think, is probably the better one.
I think there's about 6 of
them.
Well,
hell,
I'm one of I'm the other almost full-time regular.
Well, you've met Space, so Space is one of us. The Astropub's one of us. Seer, but we don't see him very often. Badges is one of us. Have a look in the. So if you look in the Discord there, man, all those people up on the top right in that group, and not everyone's online right now, obviously, but that very top Inforunner group, they're all the Inforunners, man. So it's,
I think we're purple in our chat. So
yeah. Yep. Oh no, light blue. No, light blue.
But
yeah.
Execute and I would be the two.
We're probably the most least busy of everyone else, so that's why we're probably here most of the time. So
yeah, we spend our time doing Inforunners rather than our own channels, whereas it would be probably the better way to describe it. But yeah.
So Algared, that's how you say your name, Algared?
Yeah, Algared. Yep. But
all right, so
just call me Al.
Did you see the one I did with Execute, the last one I did with Execute? In the comments, they was like, "Oh man, I wish Algared was on with Dig That 32." Did you look at them comments?
I hadn't looked at the comments. I tend to delete. I'll sometimes look at the chats and read the comments and pop my nose in, but
that was actually on Dig That's video. So not on the video.
No, it's on your channel.
Was it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, I thought it was on yours.
There you go. Execute. As opposed to what we usually do, where we
here we go. I'm about to get the blame here. This is where this is going. I can see this right on the wall right now. Yeah.
No,
as opposed to what we usually say, where we say we read every comment on that video. No, we haven't read every comment.
No, I do. Well, I man, on my brain, I thought it was on your stream, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, yeah, sure, whatever.
We certainly do read a lot of comments, and so it is very easy to blur them into, you forget which channel or which video you've read them on.
Yeah. But yeah, man, if you want to do a stream, it's just organizing the time where we're all available, which is always fun. You know how hard it is to get people together. It's a pain in the ass.
It really is. It really is. I understand that game.
Yeah. So yeah, no worries. All right. Well, next question.
Okay. Next question.
And maybe Dig can help us. Okay. Dig can help us answer some of them.
Now you've come in. You're going to be pulled in and picked on. So
yeah.
All right. So the next question: do you believe CIG will honour their statement where no ship sales for real money will take place after Star Citizen is released?
All right, Dig. Give a shot take.
Well, I think so. I think they're so financially solvent at this point that they don't have to keep continuing to do that. Will they keep their promise? I think so. I think there's going to be a lot of dissenting voices saying that, because you know how it is in the Spectrum and Reddit and stuff. They're going to be like, oh no, they're money hungry. I think there's going to be a lot of those voices that will have no choice but to be silenced after the game comes out, and they're making things happen as planned. I think
it'll just be the financial situation. Whatever, like if they sell a billion copies and they got more money than they know what to do with, yeah. But if things change, they'll probably come to us and say, "Do you mind if we do this?" Because we need to fund the servers. We just don't have enough money.
Yeah.
I think they. I think
they're gonna say it politely.
I think not politely, but I think they'll kind of say that they're going to do it in that way if they're going to do it. Yeah, sorry, Algared, you go.
I could see them doing the starter ship packs and concept ships.
Yes, I agree with that.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What'd you say?
Starter packs, so your starter pack in the game, and concept ships, so new ships that have come out. I could see them doing that.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, you could. Yeah,
it's a good point. Yeah, we have talked about, me and Algared talked about a lot of things, but yeah, I'm multitasking.
He didn't say that they'll ask us.
So this is our first time on Twitch today. So I'm doing Twitch, YouTube, playing the game, answering the questions, and multitasking like motherfucker.
I've got three.
Yeah, I've got three. No, not my cherry. No. But I've done my own stuff on there, but not Inforunners. But yeah, we literally got 3 screens going, and I've got one. I literally need a full screen because like it's all split up. So yeah, I feel like I'm pulling levies and switches like crazy. But yeah.
Well, let me be one of the first to, what do you call it? It's not subscribe, whatever. Let me be the first follower on Twitch. Maybe somebody might be beat to it.
We do. I do believe we've actually got 135 odd followers on Twitch.
But, yeah. So we hadn't. So Dyson and Hayes did the last stream on there like 4 years ago, right? Yeah. And I actually have renamed the channel, updated the graphics, and a whole bunch of stuff a while ago. But yeah.
Welcome to the ASOP.
So it was just us trying to experiment with what we can do and do that, because Twitch streamers seem to be favoured by
CIG. So the whole reason we're doing this is just to see how it pans out. Because if all of a sudden CIG, like if we get up to, I don't know, 100 people on Twitch, and all of a sudden, whatever, I just don't think it's going to happen. But we'll see what happens. So yeah.
I started doing Twitch because my buddy Yamix, he's a elite dangerous content creator. He said, I did it because he was like, yeah, I'm doing this just as a backup in case something happens with YouTube. I was like, that's not a bad idea, man.
Someone just called me Execute the Clockmaker, and I actually know that reference. You two would have no idea what that's about, though, would you? Yeah, I do.
What's the Clockmaker?
He's a role in Blood on the Clock Tower.
Oh, there you go.
And he knows how far the demon is away. The minion is away from his demon. So anyway, that's that game. Actually, I did talk to you about that, Dig, too. That board game. You remember the one I was talking about? That's the. If you want to look it up, Blood on the Clock Tower. That's the one I was talking about. If you want to look at it. So I've already talked to Dig. I'm gonna try and get 12 of us if I can, and do a charity board game thing. So we'll see. What the fuck? I went to the wrong place.
Yeah, invite me, man. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Get 12 of us together, just a one-off charity thing, and see how it goes. And if it goes really well, we might make it a more regular thing, like maybe like once a month or something. We play a different board game or something and raise money for charity. I don't know. I'm just trying to think outside the box of. It's like when we, like me, Space, and Pickles get together a lot to try and play games, but it takes us 3 months to get together to play one game, and we play all day. Like crazy, because we just don't get to catch up. And like that time you walked on and me and him playing Hunt, we hadn't done that in months. Like, and you just came in and you thought it was like this casual thing, and it's like it's like a once in a blue moon thing.
Yeah, because of that,
and that's
I bought it for myself and one of my org leaders, and we still haven't had time to play together, man. Yeah, but that's what it is for us. Like me and Space just don't get the time, but it's just a real catch up, chill out, zen out type of thing. And so what you're saying is I intruded.
You intruded, but it was fine. It was totally fine, and it was good to see you there too, because we got to hang out with you as well. So that was totally fine. But I was just telling you that's what it was, or what it started as, I should say. So yeah, but me and we would have got Pickles in there too, but Pickles just couldn't make it. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question is for you and I Execute. I'm going to cut you guys off so we can do our questions.
Cool.
And Feral says, sorry, not Feral, not Sure has a question. He says, have you two met in person? And if so, was it at a Bar Citizen? And the answer is no, we haven't met in person yet.
We have, but we just
didn't realise it. Yes.
That's it. Yeah. So we actually met at what was it? A lunch?
The Bar Citizen. It was kind of a Bar Citizen meeting at PAX Australia.
But it was more private though, wasn't it? It was only like 30 of us. It was quite a small number of people compared to most of them. Yeah, and Algared was the guy. You were sitting there with Revik, weren't you?
Yep. Revik and I were kind of doing handing out the stuff at the entrance. So we met everyone who was at that Bar Citizen.
Yeah. He's very arms crossed. I remember you being very arms crossed and talking like that.
Yeah, that was probably just because I was cold and comfortable.
It was in Melbourne. So I don't put it past you.
But yes, it was being a Sydney sider and in Melbourne. Yeah. But yeah, so certainly there. But yeah, and Revik and I, when that Bar Citizen first kind of Bar Citizen afternoon was being done, we were kind of handing out the what do we call it? The swag that had been produced by Revik's org, and I was just helping out because that's what you do. And we were both, and I was also one of the gophers for the CIG event. So yeah, I saw lots of people. But did we know each other? Did I know he was Execute? Did you know I was Algared? I don't believe we did. It was kind of just a person in.
And I don't think we actually learned each other's names until I don't know. I mean, a while.
Algared, that's how you say it. Okay.
Well, I got Algared on speed dial now, so that kind of tells you how that's changed.
Yeah.
So
so we do know each other. We do call each other in real life and chat at times. But yeah, it's but if we get the details for Sydney Bar Citizen, that will probably be the
And we are the other thing we're thinking about doing too is a live recording. We thought about doing that at the event. Gonna have to get Algared to drag his microphone and camera in, but yeah, we're gonna need a laptop. That's the one thing we don't have.
Assuming my camera decides to play.
Yeah, so we're gonna need someone with a laptop and an internet connection. Actually, we could just doing it live might be a bit stressful, but we could definitely record it to a laptop at the very least. I'm
looking at your paint. I didn't know that it still had the gray spots. I thought it was entirely orange, so I might take that paint back.
Oh really? I don't know. I don't mind
it. It looks good, but I didn't know that it had that gray spot in the middle that kind of messed up the flow.
Which paint's that? I don't mind it.
It's the newest Reclaimer one that was for sale. I don't know if it's still for sale, but it was for sale at the Invictus, and I thought it was better than the white one I had, so I just swapped it.
Yeah, I like it.
It does look better than the white one. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I melted the white one and got this basically. Yeah, so.
I like that. I like that. I like the contrast of the reds and the greys. So.
Did you know that when you're not looking, Algared strokes your beard on your virtual on your on the pictures?
What?
No.
What?
I don't know.
That's once. What? Say that to my students. That's once. And they say, "What? What that mean, sir?" And then I tell them the joke.
That's one. Here comes the countdown.
So there's a joke that a farmer had the wine at their wedding. And they get all their presents and they put them on the wagon and the horse, and they get on the horse, and before the farmer gets in, he goes and talks to the horse and hops in, and the horse goes off, and his wife's, "Wow, this horse is awesome." Horse stumbles and collapses, and the farmer whips the horse. It gets up and goes, and eventually it stumbles again. Doesn't get up. Farmer gets out, goes to the horse, says that's once, and horse gets up and goes, and then it stumbles again and whips the horse and whoops the horse, and horse gets up and goes, stumbles again, he can't get up, he gets out, goes to a horse and says that's twice. Horse gets up, full of beans, he's amazed, this is an awesome horse, and off it goes, and then it stumbles again third time, and he gets out, pulls out his gun and shoots the horse, and his wife says, "What did you do for?" And he says, "That's once."
That was so dark. I was not expecting it to be
that's
dark.
So funny. Yeah, I like that. That's good. It's dark, but it's funny.
Yeah, it's dark, but yeah.
She'd be like,
so.
Ooh.
She's like, "Oh no, what have I done?"
That's twice.
What's those headphones you got, man? What's some bright red headphones you got?
So these are Audio-Technica M50Xs, but the red version. I paid extra money to get them in red. You can't get them
I'm
anymore.
glad you did. It's because headphones are something that don't really stand out, but these stand out, man.
These are the ones.
Iron Man joints.
These are the ones
on the road at the moment.
No, not at the moment. But these are the ones I'd actually recommend. The only reason I'm not using these at the moment is I can't get leather pads for them yet because they just get a bit too hot after 3 hours. But the sound on these are better than on these. And again, if they have the proper leather pads that you can buy, highly recommend these. And these are technically cheap, about the same price as these. They're the same price, but these have got better sound. And these are newer. These have been around for about 10 years. These have been out less than a couple of months. So yeah.
Hey, can I read the next question from the chat?
If you know where it is.
Can?
You know where it is?
Okay.
It's in stream.
Yeah, he's reading it literally from chat. But
okay, yeah, go for it. Yeah.
All right, so Johnny Cash said, holding a CCU that will give me an Apollo for less than a Cuddy Red. How will the Apollo beds work? Will they spawn like 890J and Carrick?
Yes. But they're better because they're tier 3.
Well, it depends on which
higher,
module
tier 1, sorry.
Yeah, tier 1, yeah.
Depends on which module you put in your Apollo. If you put the low tier, you got... So there's two med bays, I suppose, in the Apollo. One on each side. Each med bay could either take one tier 3 bed, which is the top tier bed, or 2 of the second tier, or 3 of the lowest tier.
Tier 1's the top, tier 3 is the bottom. It's confusing and backwards, but yeah. So it's opposite of what you just said. Sorry.
Yeah.
But the top tier bed can do full body reconstruction, and that's what makes that ship valuable.
That is like what's in the hospital.
Yep.
That's what Kim Kardashian uses.
Yeah. So you can literally respawn from anywhere to an Apollo, essentially. Well, not anywhere, anywhere within the system, I guess it'll be.
Whereas the middle tier, that's lots on the Odyssey, the Carrack, and those ships, and then the last tier is what's on the Red. So depending on what module you put in your Apollo will depend on whether you can. But yes, the Apollo is the bee's knees of clinical care, I suppose, beyond an Endeavour.
What's the other? Is the Apollo, and then what's the alternative? There's Apollo, Medevac, and then there's Apollo Triage. Which one is better? I can't remember.
I think it's Triage is the white one. And even CIG, even CIG people muck this one up. And it has better weapons and a bit better armor, and that's about it.
Why the hell?
Oh, and a white skin instead of a red skin.
I know what it is.
So
what are you trying to do?
No, I think someone's got in the back turret here and left the turret on, and so the guns are slave to the turret. They're not slave to me.
Oh, nice.
Duncan said Medevac is white. Not gonna lie, only reason I want the Apollo is the red Apollo is because it looks like a damn Lamborghini, man. I really want that ship, dude. Just because how it looks, not because it's function, just because it's sexy.
I think it looks like the Apollo is very much a cut down Connie. It's a nicer looking Connie that's short and squat. Okay, we've got another question. Does the Endeavour support a grow medium hangar configuration? I'm not sure what you mean by grow.
Grow medium configuration.
So limited respawns, if you could clarify that question for us if you're still in chat, that would be awesome. Because I'm not sure from the way your question has been worded what you're asking, and I know it was probably linked to a conversation we were having probably half an hour ago or later. But I just can't remember the context, so yes. And yes, Duncan, thank you for correcting that. The Medevac is white and the Triage is red.
There's another question going around. If they said, what would it take for Execute to let me borrow his beard for like 3 weeks? Execute,
charity?
You want to go ahead and field that?
Charity, I guess.
That's
charity?
like, what would it take for Execute to be to do a Chrome Dome?
Oh, that's easy. I can do the Chrome Dome. I've shaved my head several times. That's easy.
Yeah, let me borrow your beard for like 3 weeks, man, and I'll get it back to you in perfect condition.
What do you mean it's in perfect condition now? It looks like.
I'm really keen to see that happen now because I'm really interested to see how you would replace his beard.
Yeah, I'll put some beard oil in it.
Origami. He's just gonna make like a big paper beard.
Give you like some I purchased on Wish.com.
Yeah.
All right.
This is not going to go the way I wanted it to go because not all the guns are working. But
so what limited respawns was talking about was the hydroponic pod, the garden pod. So does the Endeavour support hydroponics pod? Yes.
Yes.
It's got 2 great big massive gardens you can have on it. I think you can have a maximum of 4.
Oh, that's a grow pod. Okay.
Garden pods. Will it do hydroponics like you see in the Expanse ship or in some of the outposts? Don't know. Will it support a medical bay? Yes. Will it support a hangar configuration? Oh, I see what you're asking. No, I don't think so. You might be able to get a 3rd one in. I think the hangar or the medical bay is 2 slots. And so you won't be able to do that. So medical bay and the hangar takes up the 3 slots on the Endeavour. You may be able to get a hangar, grow pod and another module in there, but I'm pretty certain the medical bay is 2 of the 3 slots, so you wouldn't be able to do that.
Just rammed me. Damn.
And lost an engine. Yeah, you lost.
That's what she said?
No, look, I really got rammed.
Yeah, he's got rammed and he's lost an engine.
Oh my God, you are looking bad.
Yep.
Oh no.
I'm dead. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're gone. Run away, run away.
I wish I was on so I could come rescue you.
That's so good.
So yes, in answer to that question, I think there's no, it can't.
Algared, what can you explain to the people because they really want to know? It's not me, it's them. So what does the name come from?
Well, Algared.
Algared.
I've talked about it several times. It comes from old pen and paper roleplay, and I think it's Sindarin, Tolkien Sindarin or Elven, and it should have been Aglared, Aglared, which is a glorious light, because he was a lawful good character and all that type of stuff. But pen and paper game, transliteration error, Algared. By the time it was picked up and realised the name had stuck. So yeah.
Okay. Are you guys in the same game? Is he down by himself or?
I'm on myself.
He's on by himself.
Should I come in and give you a rescue?
Nah, I'll be right. Pretty sure I'm stuffed.
Well, you've got one engine.
Oh,
they just knocked me again. Right. Damn it.
Yeah, I would fly an atmosphere and run away. Yeah, that's
run away.
Run away. Be brave, Sir Robin. Ants on rear, as we say in wargaming.
Jesus.
So the Inforunners, I would like to know. This is a question coming from Dig That 32. I would like to know what you guys like to share with the community. What is your purpose for being here?
Well, I think we kind of liked helping people and just talking about the game. It's kind of really where it came from for me.
Yeah, we like talking about the game. I like, talking about the game and the lore and stuff, but then also probably things really took off for us when we started doing the Fix My Fleet episodes.
What?
Your ship despawned. In fact, you fell out of your ship.
What the
Oh my gosh, you only got it.
I didn't even die, I just started falling.
Yeah, you're just eventually you're gonna fall.
He's falling.
Now if it's on ice, you might survive. I was with my nephew once and he fell out of the 890
once.
Yep, that's it.
But no.
Johnny Cash want to know how to solo Redeemer.
Yeah, you can't really solo the Redeemer, unfortunately. You need at least one other people, two preferably at least. But yeah, it's good for 4 people because you get all turrets covered and it's quite good.
But yeah, with our Fix My Fleets episodes, a lot of the things we do we're really based on helping people get the best bang for their buck, learning from our mistakes. Like I'll be honest, if I was back in the game these days, and even if I intended to back the game with the same amount of that I've backed previously, I certainly wouldn't be buying packs. I'd be buying tokens and CCUing using war bonds because I'd get everything for half the price that I'd paid. Even if I had to pay the current price for a javelin on today.
Oh, is that what it's about? You guys say how to max out your money?
Yeah, it's one of the things we do. Yeah, so
okay.
Help people with, I guess what you could call it technically financial advice.
So you guys that are in the chat, man, definitely check out their Fix Your Fleet series, man. Do you guys have it in a YouTube playlist?
Yeah. Yep, we do.
Yeah, go check out their Fix Your Fleet series because I've been on him.
A lot of people do.
Yeah. A lot of people have. We do need to do some more at some point. But
it's just kind of tape it out a little bit because a lot of people know it now, and we've also got the Discord set up, and so people get in there, and there are other people helping other people, and that's what we wanted though. That was kind of our thing, just to bring it to people's attention that you can get chips for a lot cheaper than you need to pay.
Yo, Algared's picture that you just put in there. What the hell is that?
That's because Algared's camera's not working, so I just put that in there.
Yeah. So my camera was on, but my camera died probably halfway through.
This guy's camera don't work, like that.
Yeah, that's right. We've got our
You say Dick's camera don't work?
You get punished if your camera don't work here. So like I do ones like for badges as well. Like I've got images for badges. And stuff like that. I'll have to get one of Algared. So I put up funny photos of them.
Yeah.
Make me a 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter camera just so I could be weird.
No. I can't do that.
Screw you.
Not right now.
I'm messing with you, man.
I know.
Ralph Scott said in chat, I look a lot younger than I sound. I'll take that as a compliment.
I think Ralph needs glasses, but yeah, okay.
I think it's partly twofold. One, I am 54.
They said the NPCs
I'm now saying you've now got me
Redeemer.
on shoes. Yeah, you're a bastard. Execute. That's all I'll say.
I do said the
what you're
NPC
referring to,
solo the
Ralph.
Redeemer. Let's see.
Yeah, well, that's what I was trying to
Oh.
do, but the guns weren't working properly. So yeah.
Well,
I'll try
try again.
Execute
I do
is-
believe my camera has. I turned it off. I turned it on. I fiddled the cables. Now it is now back on according to Sparko Cam. So it may actually work.
Yep, it's working.
Boomer humor. That's funny.
Yeah. You know, Australians, we are if we bag each other out, you're generally in good graces.
That's right.
If we're not bagging each other out or we're being really ultra polite, you know that Australians are really peeved off with you.
Oh, in my Discord, I have to talk to all my Australian guys because they just curse and curse and curse and I'm like, geez, man, you guys got to stop cursing, man. They're like, that's what we do in Australia.
It's just how it is, man.
Yeah, unfortunately, Australians do use cuss words as verbal intensifiers.
We also use it for greetings too, though. You know, like.
Yeah.
Yo, Algared look like Jean-Luc Picard, man.
I never saw that before. He does.
I got that. I got that the other week. Someone was calling me John Luke. You know. And I thought,
no, that's cool as hell. That's dope, man.
All right, we better
we
better get back to the questions because we've only got like 5-10 minutes left, so we need to get those knocked off.
Very few left.
Yep, cool. Let's rapid fire them off then.
So I'm just trying to make sure I got the right one now because we did get a few more. I think. Let's see. Believe bus citizen hangar configuration. So Evan Cairo says, will the venture be available as a ship game package? Eventually, I imagine it will when it comes out.
What chip?
The Vulture.
Yeah, 100%.
Be available as a ship game package when it comes out.
Yep.
Being a starter proficient ship, I expect it will be.
Did they do it for the Prospector?
I think they did originally. I'd have to go back and have a look.
I'd have to check as well. So
Isn't that the weirdest thing that they don't have a starter prospector package?
Well, that's just something we've said a few times. Like, why don't they just make you buy a ship and just buy, attach the game to it, and then you can buy any ship you want. Not, you get these people that buy a $3,000 Javelin, and they've got to go buy a $50 Aurora just so they've got a copy of the game.
Well, now they don't. Because if you're a concierge, you actually add a game pack.
Okay. A $300 ship Algared. You get my point I'm trying to make, though. And the crazy thing is it costs $49 to add the game, but you can add the game and a ship for $45. So why wouldn't you add the game and a ship? So it's... The cost of the game itself needs to be reduced to like $30 or something. I don't know. Yeah. And then you can just add it to any ship.
He-Roth wants to know, do you still have dreams about being Locutus? Algared.
Resistance is futile. That's all you need to say, Algared. Resistance is futile.
I was about to say something along those lines.
Yes. All right, let's get these last questions done.
Okay, so the next one is how might you be able to property protect a publicly owned privateer from Hay? That'd be fun to blow up orgs.
Well, that'll be on the org, won't it? To have all the fighters to defend you. We've done events in game, and we literally have people there just to defend the people doing the event. And I'm pretty sure if you talk to any of the other guys that do events like esports and all that type of stuff, Astro Sports and all that, they'd have much the same thing.
Absolutely, I think that's definitely what people do. So if you don't have the people to support you, you are well and truly duffered.
I would love for you two to start hosting some of these things, like these events. Like, would you guys consider doing that?
Welcome to
How do you mean?
If people want us to, but that's...
I want you to.
And what type of events do you
You
want
don't
us to
count.
host?
Shut up.
What if you guys hosted some events? I'll put the events together and you guys host them. Would that be cool?
I don't know. It depends what timing. If we're into
timing
it. If we
and-
get bored, no.
He's like the vagaries of the business equals shut up.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. In and out.
So let's say, well, we're moving right along. Andreas Bilovic says, what's the best all-round ship and why is it the BMM?
That's the best all-around ship. Now the Cuddy Black. I would say the Cuddy
I was going
Black.
to say
That's
Cuddy Black.
all-around ship.
Right now, the Cuddy Black down the road,
Yeah.
it may change, but the Cuddy Black's been there for a couple of years. It's the only ship at the moment that you can buy. It's the cheapest one you can buy that does everything.
Mm. And I think I'd say, on a budget, absolute budget, best ship is still the Titan Avenger. Next bracket up is the Cutlass Black, and it does
Actually,
it goes that extra step.
The only thing I'd say is just the default game package is probably still the best bang for buck. Let's be honest, because it's all you really need. But then then the Avenger, then the Cutlass. Yeah, I'd agree with that. All right. What's next
one? I have 3 or 4 CCUs valued at $50, which now give merchantmen.
Who asked?
So this is Geocannon, Gold Cannon. I have 3 or 4 CCUs valued at $50, which now, given merchantmen's present value, are really worth $250. I can't staff 3 or 4 merchantmen, nor do I want to sell in the grey market. What would you do?
Offer them to friends.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe see if they hopefully don't release the Banner Man between 750 and 1,000, so you can shoot off into something else. Give them to us, and we'll give them away as giveaways.
Yes,
yeah, we might buy them off for you at a discount, or if you want to give them to us, we especially after the Banner Man comes out, I reckon that really will be a thing. People will be looking for them to give away, so people can get cheaper Banner Man. So yeah. If you still can't get them away, reach out to us again, and we'll after the Banner Man's out, and we might take some off our hands. So, yeah.
But he does say he doesn't want to sell them on the grey market, which kind of selling.
He's not. He's selling them to us. So that's not a grey market. That's direct. So yeah.
So Johnny Cash, not the singer, but just someone with K instead of a C.
Yep.
Says holding a CCU that will give me an Apollo for less than a Cuddy Red. However, Apollo beds will they spawn like an 890 Carrack?
We answered that before.
We answered that one, but that is an absolute awesome upgrade. Yeah, especially if you do that now, because the loaner ship for that Apollo is a Cuddy Red. So if you're after that type of gameplay, that's an absolute awesome application at this present point in time. Evan Cairo, I've gotten that one. Yeah. Limited respawn, that was responded to earlier.
What's that one?
Maddie,
what's the one that he's asking there?
Did you respond to the privateer question? I stepped away and I'm happy to rewind. If so.
Yep. So what was it? How might you be able to properly protect a publicly open privateer from, hey, that'll be fun to blow up orgs?
Yep.
And we said, you'll have to have cover and protection from your org, essentially. And we talked about how they do it currently right now in events.
Yeah.
So
no, if you sit in your ship with women's underwear, you will be perfectly protected.
Well, there you go. You can do that. If you can buy women's underwear in game and wear them in the mail, then all power to you.
Yeah, case closed.
All right.
So, there's your mistake.
Last question for today is Limited Respawn asks, will the Cuddy Black / Freelancer go up in price? I think all ships are going
Cuddy
to go
Black,
up in price.
no.
I think
Cuddy Black, you think so?
I think over time all ships are going to go up in price.
Yeah.
I don't think so, man.
They've said that.
And I don't mean to contradict you.
They've said that.
Chris has said that for years. But, and that's the frustration we have at the moment, because one of the promises, one of the standard things they've always said is you buy the ships at concept, they will be the cheapest you will ever be able to get them.
Dude, Cuddy Black has been out of concept for years and years and years.
Yeah, but he's literally said all ships are going to go up in price.
Yep.
He's been saying that for years.
Okay.
The things will go.
Well,
up.
listen to them. Don't listen to me because I don't. I guess they got more knowledge than me.
Now, of course, that depends on whether they still sell the ships on the.
Limited Respawn said they should go up. Why should it go up? Do you guys agree with that? They should go up.
I don't know. That's another debate. I think it's like, are they or are they not? And everything that we've read and they've said in the past is they're going to go up. So I think the last kind of up in price will probably be either just before release because they're trying to get that last bit of investment, or after release if they keep selling them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's some red headphones talking.
It's a hard one to pick because they've talked about ships now are the cheapest. You know, you buy the ships early, they should be cheaper than you'll ever get them. The frustration we have at the moment is that's not true because with Warborn CCUs, you can actually get ships cheaper than the original concept price. So, which is just insane.
Yeah.
But depends on whether they keep selling ships post launch. If they still sell the ships post launch on the market, then they're going to be more expensive than they are now. If they stop selling them, the pricing game is going to skyrocket as well, because that's things Chris Roberts has said in the past as well in terms of the price of what was your example, Execute? It's like the car versus the fighter versus a carrier in terms of price jump, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. Sorry, I was half listening and half reading messages I had to catch up on. Sorry. I'm going to be totally honest. You caught me on my bullshit. I wasn't listening. Yeah. Sorry.
He never listens.
I'd be the kid in your classroom, Algared, that's like flicking with rubber bands while you're not looking. That'd be me. Because no, true story. My mum was a teacher, right? And she once was a relief teacher for my class, and I was flicking.
Yeah.
So that's how bad of a kid I am. Anyway.
Yeah, suck it up, princess.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. If I knew how to raid on Twitch, I probably would do that too. So it's been interesting to do this is our first kind of dual stream. It's been interesting to do. We've also got what was the thing I was going to mention? We were hoping to have Joe run.
I just want to say this real quick. This dude said, "Could one sell merchantman in game for UE? If you sell your merchantman, I will personally find you and kill you, sir."
Yes, they did state long ago you could technically take ships that you'd brought and sold, but that has been very up in the air.
If you sell a merchantman, I will come to your house, not your real house, but your Star Citizen house.
It was
we do have.
It was theorized long ago that would actually be a really good way to raise revenue, because you could technically buy it cheaper, wait 10 years until the game came out type of thing, and then sell it, and it would be worth a lot more in game because, again, of what we were talking about, that scale of the increase in price.
You guys have been advocates of like buying big ships and using them as your value. Because that's what you guys say.
It's easier to earn down than it is to earn up.
And you think about like a Hornet F7CM is what, $250 odd or whatever it is now.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing Algared we've said too, is you don't need multiples of the same ship because you can earn sideways very easily. Yeah, sorry.
So if a Hornet is what, 270 or 220, and you look at the original price of the BMM at 250, which ship is the better value for money?
All right, I'm wrapping this up because I'm trying to wrap it up, and both of you keep changing the subject.
I'm sorry.
3 community service announcements. One is from Sangroper, who is in the Twitch chat, and he says, "Is anyone here?" The second one is, does the Apollo ship contain any mission that goes ping? I wonder if he's picking up a Monty Python contractual obligation song there, V. And the last one is, based on what we were talking about in terms of financial advice, we do need our legal advice, legal comment for legal reasons. That says, and he says, for legal reasons, Execute now makes a comment. We're not offering legal advice. Please check your
legal advice. Are you a lawyer?
Please check.
It says we are not offering. It actually says we are not offering financial advice.
Only take legal advice from Big Dad, and I will tell you the way to lose all your money. So,
all right,
all
right. I'm wrapping this up now. So like this content if you like this, dislike it if you dislike it. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, Patreon. If you guys can follow us on Twitch, if that's what you want to do that too. We will try to expand this out. There's a lot of background talk of trying to expand things out. One of the things I was talking about badges, and I've talked to Algared about, is us just recording gameplay when we actually do play the game, and then editing it and just throwing it up. You know, so I don't know. Tell us in the comments below. Is that something? Would you like to see more gameplay from us? Because you know, we don't get feedback.
Big Bass says you better subscribe to them. I'll come kick your door in. Subscribe to them.
But yeah, we don't get a lot of feedback unless we ask for it, so we have to ask for feedback. Yeah. So yeah.
So again, you know, feel free, hit those $signs, become YouTube members, become Twitch members, do whatever you do if you want to go that extra mile.
Got to play that
on Patreon.
Got to play that algorithm game as well.
Yeah, we've got to play that algorithm game, and if you want to support us, we are always humbled and appreciative of any support we get.
Right.
And if you want to get on the background conversations that I'm about to have with these guys, then join his Discord. Join their Discord, and you'll be privy to me asking about his Jean-Luc Picard-ness.
Well, this channel that we're in right now, only certain people can talk. You just happen to be of a certain role that can talk. So yeah.
Yep.
But we're going to drop into another channel, and supporters will probably jump in for the after show. With that though, yeah, thank you for annoying the shit out of us. Dig that. It's been terrible having you here.
Yeah, I am pleased.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. I'm going to come around to your stream now and just pull on your hair while you try to stream yourself. Yeah, that's fine.
I think that counts as us being raided by Dig Jack.
Yeah, that's very close to. Yeah. For sure. All right, well, we'll see you. Me and Algared will have a show this weekend that we'll record, and then it'll come out Monday as usual for you up overends, and we'll see you next week. And hopefully, man, I really still hope. I'm hoping and praying, but I don't like our chances anymore of an alien ship, unfortunately. So yeah.
Yeah, after the episode today, I don't think we'll see one, but yeah.
All right.
See, limited response.
So the voice in the void's been Dig That. Algared has been Algared.
And that's been Execute.
I'm tired. We'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Alrighty.